Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 1, picks against the spread. SUPERLOCKS, Survivor. We're all still alive in Week 1, and I have some news about the Giant Survivor League coming up a little bit later, so please stay tuned. Spoiler, it's not going to start till Week 2, apparently. Not great app developers. Thank you very much on that front. Smash the like while you're here. Sub to Mayo Media Network if you want to get into a draw for $500 cash. Although we're getting close to making it $1,000 cash, all you got to do, subscribe, rate, and review. 5 stars. The Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You do both, you get 2 ballots in the draw. If we get 100 new reviews, we're going to make that another $500. We get 200 new reviews, we're going to make that another $500 winner. So please, everyone, fill up the Apple Podcast, fill up the Spotifys, as Tim would say, with 5-star reviews, and make it easy on ourselves. Leave your Twitter handle or email in the review as well, so I can contact you if you are a winner. Play in the Listeners League, too. That's down in the description right now. $75K of rake-free money. Wouldn't want to pass on that. Geoff Fienberg is on the line. This is season number 7 of this particular show, because we had that year where me, Gary, and Tim did it, then the year that Cam and I did it when you got fired, but we're good.
Yeah, we are definitely good. And it felt so far away for so long, but we're here. It's a game week. We're already into it off a holiday weekend and ready to give her. I had a very, thinking about the season and the Chargers, I had what I believe to be a very slight panic attack the other day. But I think I'm just excited and nervous now, which is normal, I think, for me.
I am not excited and or nervous for the football season. I'm just counting down the weeks. We got 18 of these and then another 4, and then we're off for a week, and then we're back doing golf again. But the coin is ready to make some picks. I am the defending champion of the spread picks crown, but not on the SUPERLOCKS. That was a tie last year between Fienberg and the other member, the 4th member of the team, who's on the line right now. It is a Tim Undercust!
Tim Undercust.
That's not my name. I don't know what the numbers were, but I feel like Geoff and I were hitting at a 2-to-1 clip last year on our SUPERLOCKS.
Yeah, I think you guys ended up going 12-6. I think that's what it ended up being.
That's a great number.
I
feeling good again this year.
Yeah, if I was disciplined, those would have been the games I lost way too much money betting on football, going 12-6. But I love TV games too much. I'm addicted. I can't help myself, I guess.
Pizzola and I did the 6 mistakes not to make when betting on the NFL, and that was my contribution. Just don't bet on a primetime game just because it's on primetime if you don't feel like betting on it. If you have the will to abstain from betting on those games, you're going to be doing much better for your bankroll.
How many games is it? It's 18 times 3.
So
it's a lot of games that I'm forced
54?
betting.
50?
Yeah, but how are you going to chase your losses if you don't bet on the Sunday and Monday games?
It's even off a good week, a bad week, a neutral week. I don't know, the game's on TV.
How do you feel about week 1, Cust?
I like the board this week, I have to say. There are a couple of tough games to pick, but I'm telling you right now, the free money appeared magically without any work on my part. It's just there. And there are a half dozen games, which I think are really, really obvious picks. So,
well, that's great news. Always, you can sub to the newsletter. That's free. That'll have all of the links. If you missed anything, if you missed the win totals draft that came out on Monday, highly recommend that you go check that out. Everyone in the world besides Cust thought it was a great show.
In my defense, it's not that I didn't think it was a good show. I just thought the vibe was so negative that people wouldn't enjoy the show. I'm glad to hear that I was wrong. As a participant in the show, maybe I have a different experience of it than someone listening to it, but it felt dark. That was the vibe of that show, I thought. When people weren't openly admitting to their kleptomania or, any other number of things. It was just a strange show. I'm going to appreciate it because I think it's another tranche of votes in my camp for an award I think I have very little chance to win this year. So I guess in that sense, I'm glad for that show. But yeah, I'm glad people enjoyed it. I'm sure we'll get the band together once more again this year, maybe. So.
Well, someone had pointed out, why is it that Geoff can steal bags from the grocery store, and that's like abhorrent to you? Just like, oh, where's my fainting couch? Yet every hotel room you go into, every gym you go into, you just take everything in sight. Why is that different? It's both stealing.
Well, first, one is actually stealing
merchandise.
They're
both actually stealing. They're both actually no, but they're both actually stealing. Oh, I'm stopping you if you say one is actually stealing, inferring that the other one is not actually stealing. They're both stealing.
No, they're not actually. When you take from the hotel room that you paid for the shampoo, conditioner, shoe kit, sewing kit,
batteries,
etc. No, I don't take the batteries out of the remotes. All that stuff is there for you to take as a customer. That is not theft. When you rip off the tag from a bag and deposit it on purpose in the garbage can by the frozen section, so you don't have to pay for a bag. If you are unable to distinguish between those two acts, I feel really bad for you because they're different in both kind and in degree. Like, my goodness, get a grip.
They're both stealing.
You take anything that isn't nailed down in a hotel room.
Then I'm allowed to take.
Additionally, he goes into the gym, Geoff, with a giant shampoo bottle and empties the shampoo at the gym and brings it home with him.
Oh, that is all hearsay.
Is what?
That is all hearsay.
You said that you do that.
I have a little bottle that I filled from that so that if the gym ever runs out of it, because they do sometimes, I have some on hand in my gym bag.
But you don't even shower at the gym.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You've admitted to not showering at the gym and going into the shower, stealing the shampoo, and going home. You've said
I always shower at the gym.
You've said these things on this show.
I always shower at the gym. That would be disgusting to work out and then not go to the shower. Disgusting.
You get a big sweat.
My skin would be crawling. My skin would be crawling.
It's all stealing, Tim.
I mean, maybe you're not working out hard enough at the gym that you need to sweat right away, but if I'm there, I am full of sweat and I need to shower.
If there's one thing that people will never accuse me of is not working harder at the gym than you.
Well, I'm just saying. I may be working harder, just less efficiently.
And that's the difference?
I'm not saying that's a difference. I'm just saying I know I'm working hard enough that I need to shower when I'm done because it is absolutely disgusting. The idea of getting in my clean car all sweaty. That's gross.
Yeah, I just drive home in my gym clothes. Not a big deal.
To me, it's not a big deal. To me, it's a big deal.
If I don't feel like taking the shower at the gym. Anyway, your biggest point on Geoff's thing was like, oh, now the cost of bags are going to double and all of that. And now when I go to hotel rooms, you can't even get the good stuff. It's just a pump now because people like you have ruined it for everyone that we can't have nice stuff at hotels anymore because someone is going through and stealing everything.
Well, other than the word steal, I think that you have an argument to be made there for sure. But the distinction I was making, and I think it is bulletproof, is that taking home the shampoo you're allowed to have from your hotel room and ripping the tags off of bags and taking them home with you without purchasing them you've said you've done it so often that you have a usual garbage can
every time.
Yeah.
One bag every time.
Yeah.
That I forget a bag, which is most of the times I go.
You don't forget to steal, you just forget the bag. That's what you don't forget.
I'm trying to put myself into both of your shoes right now, and I have done neither of these things. But if I was to do one of them, I would steal the bag because I wouldn't want to take the stuff from the hotel room anyway. What am I going to do with it?
Okay. Like, if you want to support that sort of maniacal approach, go ahead. You know,
no, but then I buy an item.
This is a terrible defense, Geoff. Buying extra stuff at the store doesn't absolve you from stealing. You're like, oh yeah, that frozen McCain's dinner I need to eat when the Chargers lose. I'll buy 2 of them.
No. And that what's the other thing? Oh yeah, my Hamlin take. Yeah, we could just. That is what it is. It's probably a bad take, but I'm saying a minus 500 isn't free money. Like, that's my bold NFL take. What's your bold NFL take?
Well, here's the problem going to be. It's going to look even worse on you when you start victory lapping it if you're right.
Yes, that will also be in very poor taste.
Yeah, when I'm like, look, all he did was wake up and the voters noticed. Yeah, I don't know. That we'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess.
You guys ready to start the 2023 NFL season?
I can't wait.
First game, Thursday Night Football. We already have injury concerns for this game. The Chiefs are now favored by 5.5 at home against the Detroit Lions. 53.5 is now the over-under. That's dropped by a point on the total. It's dropped a point on the spread because earlier today, as we're recording this, Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee in practice, and now he may or may not play. I mean, the fact that the spread has already moved a point would lead me to believe that he is not going to play in this game. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different. I'll have a full breakdown of this from a DraftKings perspective for Showdown because there's $1 million to top prize with Justin Freeman tomorrow on Mayo Media Network. So smash the like on that one and go use Run the Sims to make your lineups because it's free right now. RunTheSims.com, punch in your email, use all the tools for free for Thursday Night Football. If you don't do that, it seems like you hate winning. So if you hate winning, don't do it. If you like winning, go do it. Geoff, I will throw it to you to kick this off. -5.5. It's in that tricky zone that we never love. Are you still taking the Kansas City Chiefs?
I definitely lean Detroit here. I probably lean Detroit before the Kelce injury. Kelsey's so, I don't know, Kelce, no Chris Jones. Maybe I'm just being hopeful and optimistic that, finally some of these like Jenga pieces on the Chiefs, that's not even fair. I'll flip it around and say what's bullshit is they're probably going to awake a sleeping giant. And now the talk about the Chiefs in the next few days, no Kelce, no Chris Jones. Now the Chiefs are going to, somehow they're going to give the Super Bowl champions a chip on their shoulder, which is infuriating. Like, you guys counted us out or something. I don't know. But they still have Mahomes. They're still amazing. They're still going to win the West, I guess. But I'll take Detroit in the points here.
Tim, is Geoff the first person ever to have the best team in his division, where his favorite team is, the favorites in there, somehow trigger himself that they lost their second best player?
Probably.
Yeah, I would throw
Probably.
too.
I mean, I think their second best player is Chris Jones, who's already not going to play. Kelsey's their third best player, who's not going to play. I don't think we see him. I feel I did. Chris Jones is probably the best defensive player in the AFC. What
about Sauce?
He's a fantastic defensive back, but there's only so much a defensive back can do to affect a game in the way that a pass rusher can do more. Let's look at this. You have your best two players out, and this whole idea that the team that's at home always dominates this early game has gone out the window, right? 2 years ago, Dallas lost by 2. Buffalo blew at St. Louis last year. There's a whole string of these teams that win late, or that road teams either compete or win. So I think Detroit covers. I think Detroit's live in the game to win it, but I think they cover the number.
So let's go back and see. I mean, the home team is one thing. The favored team would be the way that you'd probably want to look at it, because the Cowboys, were the Cowboys at home?
No, the game was in Tampa because Tampa won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Tampa won that game.
Yeah, it was 31-29. I believe Dallas covered.
Dak had like 5 turnovers, and it was a field goal game.
31-29, yeah. Dallas covered a number. Buffalo blew out the Rams last year. The Houston KC game, I sort of throw a little bit. It was COVID. There was like no fans there. Like they were like they allowed 5% attendance. So that's sort of a weird one. You can kind of throw that out. And then the year before that would have been the Patriots getting beaten. No, it was the Bears and the Packers for the 100th anniversary opening game, and that was like 10-3. So there was a time where you would never want to get against the home team in this game, but that is long gone now.
Chiefs week 1 numbers are insane the last few years. The points scored week 1, it's incredible what they do. And obviously that was the big statement they made, which ended with winning the Super Bowl when people thought that.
Yeah, but they don't have any offensive players outside of Mahomes that are like you're excited about when Kelsey's not on the field. Like they don't have any game changers outside of Mahomes. The Lions have some people that, I think Gibbs is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm very excited about this offense. I like the over. I like a very high scoring game, like a 34-31 type of game. I really do. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think Detroit will be in it to the very end.
Kelsey's the most important third down player in football.
He may be. It's close, at least on the offensive side of the ball.
It's what it feels like when, play him so much. But yeah.
Yeah, he'd be right there.
I'm kind of torn on what to do here. I kind of like the 5.5. I like the Chiefs in this game. Let's see what the coin does. The coin is taking the home team in the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll oppose you guys on this one. I mean, it's funny. We talked about, Geoff, that you don't have to bet on these island games, and you especially don't have to bet on the first games. If you do bet at DraftKings Sportsbook, like I might bet on first touchdown in this game. Like if Kelsey doesn't play, just randomly bet Noah Gray or who even the third string Kansas City tight end is, something like that. But I don't feel strongly enough about either side of this game. I'm going to take Kansas City.
Noah Gray is not scoring the first touchdown. That's foolish.
All right, well, we'll try it.
Great. Paul, do you have odds on Noah Gray by chance? First touchdown?
Noah Gray.
I feel like I had him 80 to 1.
That's really how the season's going to start, with a Noah Gray touchdown, please.
Why wouldn't it?
In front of me, no.
Not happening.
Not happening.
Here's the thing.
TD scores, first TDs. Kelsey's still the favorite to be the first TD scorer on the board. Noah Gray's 13 to 1. Oh, DraftKings, what are you doing to me here? 13 to 1. Rather bet Cust Boy, Josh Reynolds at 25 to 1, or Justin Watson at 30 to 1. Blake Bell is the other Kansas City tight end who might be filling in. Yeah, I don't really know what to do with this game. It's probably just a pass for me, but I will take we have a season-long competition with this stuff. I'll take Kansas City minus 5.5 as my pick. Houston at Baltimore minus 10 is the spread right now for the new look Ravens offense. Mark Andrews is banged up with some mysterious injury. I have no idea what it is. They're not really reporting on it. He's probably fine, but just keep that in the back of your mind. I feel like the Ravens are 9 or 10 point favorites in week 1 every year, Tim. Wasn't this what they were against the Jets a year ago? Or was that 2 years ago?
Close to it, and they covered the number. And they had the Dolphins, and they covered the number. They tend to win big.
Wait, when did they do it against the Dolphins? They lost to the Dolphins last year.
No, they played the Jets week 1 last year.
Yeah, I know, but you just said the Dolphins.
No, but they had the Dolphins in week 1 like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They blew them out in a week 1 game. They've had a lot of big week 1 wins. I'm agreeing with you. We're teasing the Baltimore Ravens down to minus 3.5. They're the first end of a 5-team, 6.5 point tease.
To 6.5 point teaser.
Correct.
Are you taking them to cover the 10?
I am going to take them to cover the 10. And they are going to be my survivor pick as well.
All right, you're going to take them in Survivor. Note that Survivor League should be available in week 2. I'll have the link hopefully by Thursday. I apologize to everyone out there. What I'm told is that it'll be ready by week 1, but then there's just not enough time to try to fill it because it'll be given to me on like Friday or something like that. So I just said make it week 2. Supposedly it's supposed to be $10,000 guaranteed in it and free to play for everyone. So whoever makes it to the end, week 2 to week 18, will split all the money. That's what I'm under the working theory of. Although, Geoff, when I said it the first time, it was supposed to be ready by last week. So they might just make me look like a fucking moron again.
I hope not, Pat.
I know,
but
I
it's
hope so
possible.
too.
Developers.
Don't love it.
I could develop an app that slowly.
No, you couldn't. Where would you start?
Google.
Okay, then
How do I develop an app? Question mark.
do you think that if you Googled it and even watched a YouTube tutorial video on it, do you think that you could do it?
No, but I could then call people
To do what? To do it for
who
you?
know how to use those various internet codes to do it.
Which ones?
This R is one of them, I think.
Mm-hmm. R?
Yeah, and they can just use the codes to write the app, and it just goes on the Apple Store, and you use it.
Okay, Geoff, do you think you're going to be doing some app developing here? Are you going to take Houston in the 10 points?
Yeah, I feel like this is just a lot of points. It's kind of scary going with the rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, but there still could be some unknowns. I'm super high on Baltimore. I think they'll cruise to their playoff spot and contend for the division, but I feel like there's some extra take back here, Pat, and I'm gonna accept it with Houston.
There's another team that I'm doing with this a little bit later on, so I'm going to pass on Houston for the moment, although they're probably better than the team I'm taking. The reason that I brought it up to Tim in these week 1 situations is that Baltimore's always been a big front-running team. They kind of lay the wood, and then they keep on going. That I don't know if Houston has the firepower, at least at this point of the season, to really keep up with them on the scoreboard. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Pierce breaks out some huge ones. Maybe Tank Dell is amazing. Maybe Stroud is just... It's funny. There's the talk about Bryce Young. There's all the hype around Anthony Richardson, Tim. You just haven't really heard much about C.J. Stroud.
You haven't. Because he doesn't have any weapons. He plays on a team where there's absolutely no interest. Yeah, you haven't heard much about him. But I can tell you this. I think people are bananas if they take Washington over Baltimore for their for their survivor in week 1. That is doing, as someone who's had a perfect season, I'm equipped to actually give some advice on this particular subject. Take the most obvious picks the first couple of weeks. It was when you get too cute early is when you get put to the sword.
How many times have you been out in week 1 of Survivor since you had the perfect season?
3 or 4 times, probably 3 times. But I also had a perfect season. You probably have never had anyone on this show in its history who actually is better equipped to give advice on a Survivor picks than me. I had a perfect season. So take it. Look, it's free advice. Take it for what you paid for it. Baltimore is the unquestionable pick this week.
I would tend to agree with you that they probably are easily the pick that you want to go with the most. Geoff, do you remember how much money Tim won on that? And in our Survivor pool that we did in real life, Tim did not have a perfect season?
Yeah, he won $0 off his perfect season.
Zero bearing on anything, but okay.
But when
it kind of does.
But when it came to the Survivor pool that we were all playing in, that wasn't on the show.
Yeah, because I wasn't really paying attention to it. What I care about is when I get held accountable for. And what I get held accountable for is what I say on this show.
Well, that was the one for
That's
money
all that matters.
that we played it.
You didn't play for it for money either.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't. We just played it for fun.
No, we didn't.
The Yahoo Award. Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
But
I like that you're changing. I like
that.
I like that you're changing your picks on this too. Like you're picking one thing here, another thing here. Big hedge by you, but you and I are taking Baltimore. Geoff and the coin are both taking Houston, San Francisco, and Pittsburgh. We got 2.5. Pittsburgh plus 2.5 at home. 41 is the over/under. Do we have news about Kittle or Bosa yet, Geoff?
I can't speak for Kittle. I can speak for Bosa. Tim thinks he's an aficionado in Survivor picks, and he has every right to speak on it. Well, I know Bosa. I speak Bosa. It's a family dialect. You better pay him if you think he's going to walk through the door. These Bosas, they will not move. They will budge. They will dig in. Playing week 1, I mean, we're recording Tuesday, Pat. They're on the road, so there's still a travel day for them. Like, if he actually signed right now as we're recording, he'd play like 16 key third down snaps. Like, I don't think they'd risk him by overworking him, despite, I assure you, knowing Bosa, he's working his ass off in some Florida compound. Like, you don't have to worry about him being in shape. But he will not budge. They will, you can't break them at a negotiating table.
What's the other thing that's always true about Bosa's?
You know to be true. That is also true.
They don't play.
But then they make a lot of money per snap, I tell you.
More than anyone I can imagine. They don't play. He won't play. Not this week.
Didn't play a lot either.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I don't know why I guess I took it there, but yeah, on the notion of Bosa, like just 49er fans, they will not relent on top of the market. Yeah. Very slight budge, if at all, will be coming from them. Kind of feels like a lovely spot for the Steelers. I can trust Mike Tomlin here. At home, I'm excited for them. I'll take the Steelers plus 2.5. Still think San Francisco walks to a division playoff berth, but Steelers probably going to bet this on the money line for Sunday.
I think that is going to be a very common sentiment this week, Tim, that people are just going to take the Steelers and bet them on the money line.
They should. The last 2 years, that's exactly what happened. They played Buffalo 2 years ago, big underdogs, a really good team. They beat them last year. Bengals coming off a Super Bowl. They go to Cincinnati. They beat them. Tomlin gets his teams ready for week 1 against superior competition.
I just have a question. Does Pizzola, because I know they all, in Sharpland, but, and not to say, I believe it and everything, they make sense and everyone's betting something at a different number, so it's hard to quantify. But I'm not supposed to care that, I'm backing a publicly backed underdog week 1. I still feel I am. But doesn't Pizzola say that shouldn't matter?
Yeah, he would. But I mean, you can ask Rob. I'm not Rob. I'm not wearing glasses. I don't have a bald
Yeah, but
spot.
you did the. Yeah, I know, but I just mean you did the from the show. Like, I still feel like there's some instances where I don't know, it does matter. You don't want to be on the fucking side of fucking everyone in town.
I like San Francisco still in this game. I think San Francisco is the better team, even if they're missing. I mean, missing Kittle would be a bit tough, but I'm just going into it like they're not going to have Bosa. I think I see all of the cases for the Steelers here, but it just feels like everyone really wants the Steelers in this spot because people love the outlook for the Steelers this year. And I'm curious to see what Brock Purdy looks like in the situation, whether he can keep it going from the end of last year, how he returns from the UCL. But even without Bosa, San Francisco is still going to be able to get to the quarterback. And this is still, I was going to say Mitch Trubisky. It's not. It's Kenny Pickett. But Kenny Pickett had a great preseason. That's great. What has happened to the long lineage of preseason MVPs, Tim?
They tend not to do that well. But he also played well at the end of last season, too. And Pittsburgh made a push to almost make the playoffs. I don't know. I think these two teams are pretty evenly matched.
Really?
Yeah. It's under a field goal. And like I picked the Steelers to go to the AFC Championship game. I really like this Steelers team, as you know. And the Steelers get up for week 1 games like few others. I just cited the last 2 years, played much better teams, and they beat them. I expect it to happen again. I like the Steelers this week.
Okay. Another new fun part of the show that I want to go through with you guys. So everyone out there, there's $1,000 up for grabs right now. It's free money. Literally, it's free money. You can play it for free. Here are the 3 things that you need to do. And I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Number 1, you download the League Safe app. The link is in the description of this video and podcast. Easy enough. Make your account if you don't already have one. If you're a Fantasy National member, you probably do already have one. Click Games in the bottom left corner on the app, and then open the only contest that's up there. It is a just pick'em game. There's 10 questions. You get points for each of them. I want to run some of these by you and have my entry. We'll go with consensus here. Geoff, which of these players will have the most rushing yards in week 1? Bijan, James Conner, Miles Sanders, or Brian Robinson? You weren't listening. Bijan? What do you think, Tim?
Bijan.
I was going to say Bijan, too.
Yeah. There are points associated with this. You get 25 points if you're right, and Bijan wins this 4-man thing. If it's Miles Sanders, you get 39 points. So we will take Bijan in this spot. I just want to go down to question number 8 and question number 10, which are put in here specifically for you guys. So again, the League Safe app to play in this, $1,000 every single week, by the way, free to play. Which of these players will score a touchdown in week 1? All correct answers earn points. You ready for this, Geoff? This one's for you.
Okay.
Austin Eckler, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Keenan Allen, or none of these players will score a touchdown.
There'll be a lot of touchdowns. Austin Eckler is certainly going to score in that football game.
All right, he's the favorite. He gets 25. If Keenan Allen gets one, it's 44 points.
Okay. Yeah, they're all. It's going to be a wagon of points. But you asked me who's for sure going to score. I feel.
All right, so Austin Eckler is the pick for us, and then Tim, this one's for you. Monday Night Football. Which player will throw for the most passing yards on Monday Night Football? Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, another player, or exact tie?
What are the odds on exact tie? I'm just curious.
You get 99 points for exact tie and 99 points for another player, 25 for Aaron Rodgers, 20 for Josh Allen.
Can I just say the other player odds should be much shorter than the exact tie? The other player is far more likely to win than exact tie. Because if one of them...
I'm pretty sure the maximum amount of points you can be awarded is 99 based on this system.
Fair enough. Anyway, Aaron Rodgers.
For sure?
No, not for sure, because Buffalo could be throwing a bunch to catch up, and then Allen could get the numbers that way. But I'm looking forward to that game. That game's going to be, a lot of passing yards, and I don't think Buffalo has the weapons on the backside to stop us personally.
Okay. League Safe app. So you can click on it down in the description to search the App Store. Tim didn't build it, so it might actually work, and it does exist. So just create an account, games left corner, play in that game, $1,000 in the prize pool, free to play. So go do that now. And frankly, if you want to play in the Survivor, you're probably going to need that app anyway. Hopefully it can come through. Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Minnesota -6 at home against the Baker-led Buccaneers. Mike Evans dealing with a groin injury in this game, 45.5 is the over-under. I'm going to take the Bucks in this spot. I picked both these teams to win their division, so I do like both these teams. Baker still throws a decent deep ball. Mike Evans is going to restructure his contract, although he has the groin. He has a chance of re-aggravation, I suppose, but he's still healthy enough to be playing in this game. That we saw what Minnesota's defense was like. Did Brian Flores completely fix it in the offseason? Probably not. Is it better? Probability would have to say it's going to be better than it was last year because it was absolutely abysmal a year ago. I can just see a lot of points being scored in this game, Tim. I like the over, and I think that the Buccaneers keep it within 6.
I don't. I think it's a Viking beatdown. We're teasing the Vikings down to plus a half point. I don't see how you lose that bet. Buccaneers are not going to win this game on the road in week 1. It's not happening. Baker Mayfield's going to throw for more interceptions than touchdowns in the game. That's what's going to happen. I like the Vikings here.
Geoff?
A strong lean to the Buccaneers. A candidate to be the Fienberg game of the week where, one team wins, the other team covers.
I love the Fienberg. I forgot about the Fienberg game. That was my favoriteest thing last year that we found out was the Fienberg game.
Okay. Big fan. I was joking. I didn't know that there was actually a big fan out there, but he's right here.
It's me. I love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I've taken a lot of underdogs so far. I think maybe every single underdog. I'm going to continue that trend here. A lot of question marks. I think maybe as the season goes for Tampa, but I think I like outside their offensive line. I like their health right now, and maybe they can take advantage even of that really shitty Minnesota secondary. But Tim noted the Baker picks are always in play, but so will the back door for us taking home the 6.5.
Just 6.
6.
Okay,
so I'm not Cam.
You're Cam now?
I'm not Cam. I don't even know that I'm betting the game. Yeah, 6. Okay, Vikings. We'll take the 6.
Tim, you're alone on Minnesota Island here. The coin's going Tampa Bay too.
Fair enough. Okay. I feel really good about this one, though.
And you teased through 0 and said it couldn't lose.
I just don't think it's going to lose. I think I think the Vikings should be in everybody's teasers this week.
Well,
Would you pick them in eliminators?
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like Minnesota should have been your survivor pick.
No, we are sticking with Baltimore.
Well, you could save Baltimore.
I think Baltimore's going to cover the 10.
And you think that Minnesota's going to cover the 6?
I do, but you know what? You don't get too cute. That is getting too cute. That is dumb minus EV football.
I think maybe out of respect, like you were starting a journey with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you pay homage to your boy Kirk Cousins with this week 1 suicide pick.
Absolutely not. You're not going to talk me into it or out of it.
Well, Tim, you can really put this to the test. If we do get the week 2 one on the go, you can win $10,000.
It's fine.
Are you not going to play in it?
It's 50-50. I even figure out how it works.
I just told you
how suicide pool works.
No, getting into the logging in and whatever.
Logging in. What are you?
Just I'm saying. I'm not making any promises I can't keep.
That's all you have to do is log in and make a pick.
Oh yeah, I forgot Tim has personal assistants that do his survival.
Yes. I don't want a personal assistant. I just need people to do stuff for me. They don't need to have a title.
So they're a personal assistant. We just can't call them a personal assistant.
But it doesn't have to be the same person doing all the same things.
Do you have a crew?
It can be a multiplicity of people doing things for me that I'm not able to do myself. Yes.
I don't want to diminish your situation.
Thank you. Then don't.
But if we had to compare things that we have going on, Pat and I both have 2 kids. You have nothing going on. This is the advantage of the you could take great vacations. You could just disappear. You could stay up late. You could sleep in. There are a lot of things. And part of that is the time you have. You could do anything. What do you mean you can't log in? I don't even
know how.
Understand.
Can't figure it out. Don't know how. Can't figure it out. What is there not to... Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, but this
Yeah,
sounds.
but this is why
I
and
struggle
you're-
with these things.
I don't. I mean,
And my
do you need like I just I don't understand. This is just
Okay.
even for you. This is beyond.
like you know how
I'd
to
say
log
it's
into the
50-50.
McDonald's app.
Once. I
you
did
did
it one
you did
time.
it. You did it.
I couldn't tell you how to. If I logged out now, I'd be lost. I tell you that right now. And also, RIP Dollar Drink Days. It ended yesterday.
Listen, it's a good run for you, I'm sure.
Well, this is the stretch where you get good coups because during the Monopoly,
Yeah,
you
Coop
get
showed up.
no good ones.
Showed up in the mail today. A booklet.
They sure. There's actually some.
Oh, geez,
I mean,
there's
there's some good ones. They're phrased in ways that I would prefer they weren't phrased, but there are some really good coups available on the app.
You're still triggered that it says dinner for two.
Yes, two can dine, 4 can dine. Yeah, I am. I'm bothered by that. But
I mean,
anyway,
4 can dine. 1 can
Sure, but
dine.
also
one can
one-
dine. Sure, 1 can dine
Yeah.
too.
yeah. So don't make me have to say 4 can dine. Like if that's what I'm going to eat the next 3 nights or something, and it's 1 dining.
You're gonna
Probably
eat,
not gonna-
You're gonna
I'm
eat
probably
a.
not
Hold
going
on. You're gonna eat a dinner for 4 3 nights in a row, or are you saying you're gonna buy a dinner for 4 and bring it home and then reheat McDonald's for 3 days?
I was actually thinking the reheating, but I don't think I would do that.
You don't
Now
even
that I
own.
think about it.
You don't even own an air fryer. It'd be bad reheats, pal.
Well, it
Can
would
I be
my
honest,
fault.
Tim? Like for like the coupons are great, but for like the $8, I assume maybe even less, the $6 that would save you, you're better off just buying fresh McDonald's every day than reheating McDonald's 3 days from now.
Yeah, you
Psychopath.
know what? I think I agree with you. I think I agree.
But the fact that you can't log in, you forbid to log in, and
He doesn't.
whatever.
He knows how to do it. He doesn't want to put himself out there and actually compete with anyone. That's what it is.
hmm
Then
Sure.
you can't write down your name and come up with a dummy password.
And then figuring how you put money into stuff.
It's free.
Nothing's free. I got when I win. How am I going to get my money? I got to give. Anyway.
So
And you think
So your
you
problem
think-
is that you're going to win, but it would just be too hard for you to get the money to, let's say, I don't know, link it to the email with your PayPal.
I don't have one.
I mean, for $10,000, you could probably make one.
I don't know. Look, I don't know. I don't know if I get it done. I don't know. I have no idea. I said 50-50. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. Stop bullying me.
We'll do it on the show next week. We'll get you to turn on your camera. We can do it live.
I'm already anxious about this. It's good live show technology.
But you actually think that you make ground on me. I take a dollar bag from a billionaire, and you think that you're gaining points on me when in the
Yes.
votes, when you are afraid of when 2 can dine offends you because you want to eat for 2.
Yes, because that's already ground we've covered, Jeffrey. That doesn't hurt me anymore.
Well, Jeff,
I think-
Jeff, did you know that Tim went out for a meal that cost more than $30 the other night?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure that it was, but you said you'd never do that.
Well, I didn't think I ever would. I didn't imagine it, but I've done it a few times and I enjoy it.
I'd imagine it.
Honestly, you can't even go to the like eateries anymore for under
It's-
$30.
It's getting pricey these days.
How much was the meal?
I would imagine it must have run me $80.
80
All
for
told.
bucks.
Good
Tim,
for
too
you.
Well,
rich.
I wish I didn't even say that out loud now, but I had to get the appetizer and then the entree and glass of wine to go with. You know how it is.
Oh no, I get how it is. How what'd you have as your appetizer?
I had the pork belly bao buns. They were quite delicious.
Red the pork belly bao.
Sounds
buns.
yummy.
Yeah, the
Well-
bao buns were like fluffy clouds. They were quite delicious.
They were like
These, like,
fluff
sliders.
They were like fluffy
Like-
clouds.
like-
Yeah,
Pork
they're like
belly
little
sandwiches?
tiny. They're like little tiny tacos. Is the best way to describe them.
what were they?
Sounds
What were they
lovely.
called?
They were called the pork belly bao buns.
And you got yourself the duck to go along with it.
Yes, I did. I got some duck as my my main course. And it was quite delicious.
Oh, and a glass
Look
of
at you
wine.
splurging,
Look
eh?
at that. Oh yeah, you're pushing like over 100 here, pal. I'm looking at the menu right now.
Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe it was. Plus, I had to give a tip. So
Yeah, there you go. Next time we go out for a nice fancy steak, you won't have to eat my steak. You can order your own.
well, no, that's different. Where that was an extremely expensive steak. But if you want to cut me off a piece, I'll have some.
Cincinnati at Cleveland. We still don't know officially about Joe Burrow yet and whether or not he's going to play. Chances are he's going to play. That's what it's looking like at the moment. And the spread really hasn't moved at all. I guess it kind of factored in that he was going to play, that the calf is going to be an issue for him to make him less mobile right now. Geoff, this is the only game I have bet so far on the week 1 slate. I have bet on the Bengals -2.5 on the road. Kind of already regretting it. The Browns have done well against the Bengals during the Joe Burrow era. It's just bad offensive line against a really good defensive line kind of blows up your spot a lot of the times. But I just think that the Bengals are a vastly superior team, and just pray they don't start as slow as they did last year. So Cincinnati -2.5 is my pick.
I'm on the other side of this one, and I'm on the other side and contemplating starting my SUPERLOCKS season with the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to be taking, Pat, I believe, every single home divisional underdog today.
Well, you've taken every underdog in every game so far.
Well, I will have some favorites, I'm sure, but I'm going to take every.
Yeah. Right, Chargers.
I'll have more. I believe I'll have more than that, but I'm going to take every home divisional underdog this week. You mentioned that defensive line situation. Joe Burrow, he's the best, but they run a bit of a timing offense there. I think they could be a bit slow to get off the mat here. Cleveland wins this game outright. I'm taking the Brownies. I'm scared Watson might actually suck. And I'm sure Tim will victory lap it as soon as week 1 ends. But that is a concern.
Then you really shouldn't make them your super lock. There are 16 games on the slate.
Okay.
If you're very concerned that the most important player on the team you're picking might be terrible, maybe you shouldn't lock them in for week 1. That's my own personal advice.
Okay, that's good advice. Sound advice. I appreciate healthy debate. On that,
embrace debate with Geoff Fienberg.
No, it's out there. I will be betting this game. I will be betting on the Browns. I'll be taking them spread, money line, whatever. But we'll see if it's a super lock.
Geoff he told me this before the show, before you jumped on, Tim, that he just got finished watching these back-to-back documentaries about this Deshaun Watson conspiracy on Rumble. So that's probably why he's on Cleveland right now.
Which, since he has no time in his life, unlike me, who has unlimited time to do whatever he wants, according to Geoff, I'm surprised he was able to squeeze in 8 hours of Rumble time each day.
None of this is true. And actually, well, no, yeah. Honestly,
it's not completely untrue, though.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that.
How many minutes a day you spend on Rumble, Geoff?
None, because they've really they've really eased up some of my Stern Show stuff that always gets copyrighted and axed off YouTube. It's been hanging around a lot longer.
Well, it won't now. Thanks for drawing attention to it.
Oh, I don't think they got other things.
Anyway, I'm taking Cincinnati, and it's a pure play against Watson. I've been saying for the last month and a half, 2 months. I thought he was more likely to be done than back to normal, and so I feel like I'm sort of obligated to make that jump here with the Bengals. So.
Jacksonville and Indy, the Colts are 5-point dogs at home. 45 is the over-under. Tony Richardson. I like Tony better than Anthony. Just T-Rich, the new T-Rich, Tony Richardson, makes his debut against Trevi Lawrence. Tim, he's your buddy now, all of a sudden. He went from guy who's going to be playing in the CFL to someone who's amazing.
I have no reason to be upset anymore.
That he turned out to be better than Zach Wilson?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's obviously played fantastically last year. Down the stretch, and into the playoffs, he played well. This game, to me, is the Fienberg game. I like the Colts to cover. I think Jacksonville will win. I think Richardson plays well. I think he puts up relatively big numbers. I think it's an exciting game. I think it's a fun game. I think both teams have something to show. I think the Colts have more life in them than people seem to think, and it's all based on the fact that I think Richardson is pretty darn talented. So I expect this to be like a 30-27 style game.
You think there's just a lot of scoring week 1, huh?
So far, there are some games we're going to come into here where I don't think there'll be very many points. Like we're about to get into a few actually, where I see very few points being scored. But I think this one is pretty high scoring.
I'm torn on what to do here, Geoff. For years, when Indy was far superior to Jacksonville, Jacksonville would beat them outright every single time. Now that the rules are reversed, does it switch?
We know Jeff's taking the Colts. He's taking every home divisional underdog this week. You've ruined all the SEO for the show by saying that.
I am taking the Colts here. Both fair points across the board. I appreciate Tim's candidacy for the Fienberg game. Maybe this is the one. I like that Pat's memory is so many weird, not only in division games by the Colts when they have been favored, but like week one specifically.
Knocking us out of Survivor on at least one occasion.
More than one. Probably like 2 of the last 3 years on week one. I swear to God, the Colts. But now they are the underdog. The slippers on the other foot. Doug Peterson, Indy. Whether it was Philly or Jacksonville, does seem like the teams sometimes are a bit slow starters, but no one is better at almost figuring out how the season will play out and pushing all the right buttons as the season progresses, it seems, as Peterson. But feels a bit of a trappy game for the Jaguars, who everybody is expecting to run away with a lot of things. I'm taking the Colts here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts as well on the 5 points. It's more that you kind of hit on it. Everyone is so in on Jacksonville really making a leap this year. Maybe they just wildly overachieved last year. Like, yeah, maybe Lawrence is really good. Maybe adding Calvin Ridley is going to be the boost they need to that offense to bring them over the top. But last time I checked, doesn't this defense absolutely suck?
I think that's probably strong. It's probably not great. Doesn't need to be great. But another reason why, in a game against an exciting offensive player, it's pretty good to go the other way. Yeah. 5 points, home dog in division. I'd be very.
Jags have some O-line issues too, and the Colts don't have a ton of strength, but some of their best players are on that front seven.
That's true.
Arizona at Washington. The Commandos are 7-point the tank. The 7-point favorites at home. 38 is the over-under right now. Still no word on whether or not Terry McLaurin is going to play in this game for Washington. He's suffering from turf toe. That would lead me to believe that he is not going to play in this game. He's 50-50-ish at the moment. Tim, this is my super lock. I'm taking the Cardinals. I don't know who's playing quarterback for them. I really don't care. This is a complete play against Washington, who I do not think is good. Better than the Cardinals? Sure. A 7-point favorite when you're a shitty team? It's going to look stupid when they win like 31-0, but fuck it. Just bet against Washington. I'll take the +7 with Arizona, and I bet you it's probably going to be +7.5, +8 in a few days when I actually sit down to lay some real money on this.
I'm teasing Washington down to a 0.5 point because I think they're going to win. I am going to go with Washington in like a 16-3 type game. I think it's going to be an ugly game. Would it shock me if Arizona covered the number? Or would it shock me if this game went to overtime and Washington won it with a field goal? No, I wouldn't. I think both of these. I'm hoping Washington wins because as someone who was forced to take them with the last pick in our wins draft, they were my last pick. Any wins I get from my last pick are gravy as far as I'm concerned. So better get this one. I think betting on the Cardinals would be silly, but I also think betting against them, just to stay away. Tease them or stay away from the game. That's my personal opinion.
I was thinking about Cardinals money line, Geoff.
There's nothing that could happen here that would truly surprise me, despite being heavily invested in Arizona under 4.5 wins this year.
Yeah, the Bears won week 1 last year.
If they actually somehow won the game, I know it was the dumbest game. Tim mentions overtime. Sure, that wouldn't shock me. I do see sort of what Tim is alluding to. He said 13-6, 21-10. I'm going to pick
if we're in the 13-6 zone, then I think +7 is probably the side that you would have wanted to be on most of the game.
Yeah, I guess if I said 13-6, I believe Tim said 16-3. So that is my misspeaking there. But Yeah, I don't know. I have no faith in the Cardinals' ability to backdoor the game. I'm going to have no money on the game. For the great football fans of that region, I hope it's a celebration and a party and an ass whipping. They got a new owner. If they are in a position to lay the wood, I believe they absolutely will. It's scary to know that, no pun intended, Terry is out, or I fully assume he's out.
He's not
but
officially declared out, but he's probably not going to play.
Yeah. I'm going to, no way would this get my real money in either side. Although if I actually did have to bet it, maybe I would take the Cardinals, but I'm not betting it. And I believe the Redskins are going to start the season on a lovely foot.
Well, that's not even a real team, but I listen, they haven't named a starter yet, which I actually kind of like. I like what Jonathan Winner Gagnon is doing, Timmy. He has real guerrilla warfare. He knows his team sucks. So what's he doing? He's trying to squeeze out every little advantage that he can get. And the fact that he's already doing stuff like this, not naming a starter, not putting up anyone on the podium, not that Washington really has to prepare for much with Arizona's starting quarterback, whoever it might end up being, but it just leads me to believe he's thinking about things, which I think is more than I can say about Ron Rivera at this point. Ron Rivera is thinking, how long of a field goal can I settle for in the red zone?
Maybe. Or it could be a Lyle Landley situation. Who should be the conductor of the monorail? Me? Yeah, sure. He just doesn't really care who quarterbacks his team because they're all bad. Because they are all bad. Without Kyler, it doesn't matter. This team is just not good. I don't care who starts the quarterback.
But do you think that Washington, they went third to last in our win totals draft. They're also not good.
No, but yet they went 8-1 last year.
Well, that's last year.
Okay, but much of that team is returning. And a quarterback you absolutely love in Carson Wentz isn't there. So I suppose that would be a reason to be against them. But that's an easy game. Washington at home, fans would be energized. This is it seems like a lot of points. I can understand taking the Cardinals, but I think the safe thing to do is just put them in a teaser. They're not going to lose.
That's two teams that aren't going to lose. You just talk people out of putting them in Survivor. You just said that they're not going to lose. So which one is it?
They're not going to lose, but again, I also said you don't get too cute. I also can see things going sideways, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Tennessee and Nolans. This actually made my short list for Superlocks. Then the spread moved to 3. It was 3.5 for the longest time. 41 is the over-under. I'm very curious to see what the Saints offense looks like, Geoff, because everyone's really kind of in on the Saints this year. They're definitely going to win the NFC South. We know how good this defense is. Can Derek Carr just be way better than Andy Dalton? Michael Thomas is coming back. Kamara will be back in a few weeks. Forget they haven't been good in years at this point. And yeah, they do have an injection of at least decent offensive talent, we think, coming in. But the Titans are just kind of good every year, and they have almost exactly the same team. They're missing a few key pieces on the offensive line, a little bit on defense. Maybe they're marginally worse, but everyone's just kind of older. That's about it. They do add Hopkins. Looks like Treylon Burks might play in this game, which is nice. I just like them. I like the +3. I like the Titans here. I'd really like it if it was 3.5 because I can see this just being a 3-point game.
And maybe some 3.5s could develop for us, Pat. I am not. Everyone is sort of loving the Saints, and I guess it's because they're not impressed by anything else in the division, which is fair, but I am not here for that Saints bandwagon. I think 3.5 points with this Vrabel-led, I don't know, they're not totally healthy, but they're pretty close to healthy if Burks is going to play this week. I like the 3, and I would argue we shouldn't even be getting the 3. So I'm taking it.
What would be your argument that we shouldn't be getting the 3?
I believe there's a big coaching matchup in this game. I believe the Saints and their talent, as many have you pointed out, is a little, I don't know, overrated. And the Titans as an underdog, in general. We just know that as betting this team, or I should say as someone who has tried to make money betting against this team. Mike Vrabel is an underdog, very, very dangerous situation. So give it to me. Vrabel, 22-9 is the exact number. I know the trends don't matter. ATS is a dog of 3 or more. Wah, wah. Give me Vrabel.
Coins going Saints, Tim. And I know you like the Saints too.
I do like the Saints. I'm going to take the Saints here. I think that they kind of handle Tennessee pretty easily. I think they get up 10, and then the Titans are kind of cooked. They don't really have a play. I mean, people who like Hopkins, I guess. I don't think Hopkins is going to make a huge difference. He helps in the red zone, but unless you're in the red zone, I don't think he's going to make a huge difference.
You were hold on. You were pretty pumped when the Jets were rumored to get
I
him.
thought he would be and I still think he'd be a good red zone target down there. I'd love to have him for a team that I expect to be in the red zone a lot. For the Titans, I don't know that he matches as well for them. A low-scoring game. I think it's going to be like 24-10 for New Orleans, something like that.
Can I make a prediction for the season? And this is coming from me, a guy who you watch our show, Les Titans, play them week 2. It's a blunt and bucket game on my schedule. You know. I think because the Tannehill situation, it's always expectation based. And they had a couple great years where they won so many games. And there were these dumb stats that you would see like main national accounts, even like the NFL's main feed, tweet out pictures of Mahomes and Tannehill and show these metrics where like, look, Tannehill's even a little better. Like, okay, my eyeballs, like, you go fuck off. But now there's like the thing on Tannehill is flipped so far the other way, Pat, that I actually believe when this season ends, he's going to like gain respect in the NFL fan space a bit. Like, I think they're going to play well. I think he's going to move the ball with Hopkins and Burks and Okwano, Black Panther. Yeah. I think they might be a little better than people think.
I think a lot of their offense just really boils down to, Tim, that guy you can tackle. Everyone's just like, Derrick Henry's cooked. Why do we think that Derrick Henry is cooked?
Well, I don't think he's cooked. I don't think he's cooked.
Cooked enough for you to tackle him.
I think anybody could give him 100 attempts. You could tackle him. I think that's not an outrageous statement. I don't think he's cooked. I think he'll probably run for over 1,000 yards this season.
Oh, wow, 1,000 yards in 17 games? He's pretty good.
How many guys have run for 1,000 yards like 5 years in a row?
Yeah, there are very few players who get all of their team's carries like Derrick Henry does.
Even still, over the last 20 years, how many guys have 5 consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards? Like, are there any? Like, there probably are a handful, but not very many. Like, I still think
of a couple, yeah.
Yeah, like not many, right? I still think that Henry is fine, but this team just doesn't have enough talent on the offensive side of the ball still. They're lacking it. And anyway, I just think the Saints should beat them. I don't have a whole lot to say about the game other than I just think the Saints are a decent team at home. It's going to be sort of a party atmosphere in New Orleans.
I think this is the biggest week 1 coaching mismatch that you can actually quantify, because you can't really quantify like Harbaugh versus D'Amico, I guess.
Yeah, you may be right about that.
I think,
I don't know. I think
that would be the case
Daboll
for
versus McCarthy. I think Daboll McCarthy is close.
Or maybe even, Daboll McCarthy. Oh, well, sure, but if you want to play the other side, like to argue the other side, McCarthy has accomplished a lot, despite having accomplished not enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think those things matter a lot more when there's not a huge discrepancy of talent between the two teams. And I mean, according to Tim, and you might be right, that New Orleans is severely more talented than Tennessee. I happen to think that these teams are a lot closer, so coaching would matter more. And that's kind of like what I'm banking on with the Cardinals as well, that if these teams are a lot closer in terms of talent, that maybe the one guy who I know is kind of a terrible coach at this point, maybe the new guy's just really good, and that would work out fine for him. With Dallas and the Giants, like, yeah, I would agree with you. Daboll's a way better coach than Mike McCarthy, especially in 2023, but Dallas just has a way better team. So it might not make as big of a difference.
I think that's fair.
One more game here on the early slate. Carolina and Atlanta. The Falcons are 3.5-point favorites. 39.5 is the over-under. Probably not going to get DJ Chark for the Panthers, but we get the debut of Bryce Young in this game. We get the debut on the other side of the ball of Bijan Robinson, and you got Return Me Timbers Tim playing quarterback. I don't know what to do with this game. I don't like the Panthers. I don't like the Falcons. 3.5 seems like a lot But can you guys sell me either way? Because I really have no opinion on this game. Under.
Under, and I'll take the Falcons. I was in a fantasy draft last night. Bijan went second overall. I was very excited for that pick.
Was it you?
No, it wasn't me, and I wouldn't have made the pick. But when it was made, I was like, that's actually a really good pick. Bijan's a really good player. I think he's going to have a nice season. And no Chark. I don't know what to expect from the Panthers. I don't trust. I mean, you talk about coaching discrepancies. I think Atlanta's got a pretty strong favor in that matchup between Reich and Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith's a pretty darn good coach. And while I'm not super high on Atlanta's chances this season, Carolina's one of the 3 or 4 worst teams in football. I don't think Atlanta's that bad. Atlanta's like a 500-ish team, maybe just a scooch under 500. Whereas Carolina, I think it's like a decisively worse team. So all that being said, at home, and it's only 3.5, I don't mind taking the favorite here.
I think I'm going to take Carolina, Geoff, just because I can't make sense of these two teams. And I do think that unless the Falcons offense really, really clicks, that the strongest unit in this game is like what you brought off on the NFC win total show, is that the Carolina defense might be really good.
Yeah, I do like the Carolina defense. I think there's just I feel like in some ways, or maybe in some casual circles, that Carolina is perceived to be worse than they are just simply because of the optics of like even picking first overall. Would they trade out of 9 or 7 to get there? That being said, Pat, I believe this game, not injury related or the causation being injury, I don't think a spread has moved more than this game from the summertime. I believe it was like Atlanta -2 or 2.5, and that you're never, I don't even think you can catch a 3 anymore on this one. So nothing to do with injury. I believe this game actually saw the most movement. I will not have any bets. I don't know if you guys did your math, but we played that TV game. How many games are on at 1:00? Because my buddy in our situation, we only got 7 TVs. So is this, I guess Arizona's
8.
laptop, right?
I don't know. I'm going to be wagering on Arizona, so that's definitely going to be. We have 8 TVs, so it's going to fill it. But would you just want to see?
Way too many 5:00 games this week 1. Way too many. There's 5. It's ridiculous.
Well, people should tune in to Sunday Night Football on Mayo Media Network at the conclusion of those later games, or maybe even like at the very end. We might go at what would it be? 5:45, 6:45 Eastern. 7 Eastern, right around there. We'll just come live in the studio, and we'll be sweating the end of those games. It's going to be me, Cust, and Garion for week 1, and that'll be live. It'll be available in the podcast version after the fact, so you should probably subscribe. It's a weird inflection by me. Subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast on Apple or Spotify. Leave that 5-star review.
Garion.
What?
Hope it's a sad Garion. Sad Garion.
Have we decided if we're doing it from the studio or from the TVs?
We'll just do it from the studio. It makes it a lot easier.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, just to be able to hear everyone. We'll have the lights all
I'm with
set
you.
up. And
I'm going to be a disaster in weeks where the Jets are still playing. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to be a disaster.
So you better tune in to Sunday Night Football then. If you
like
want
week 2, we play the Cowboys on America's Game of the Week. And if I can't watch every second of that game because we're setting up in the studio, I'm going to go bananas.
Yeah, you're... Well,
when you say hold on, when you say if you can't watch it because we're setting up in the studio, what do you do when we're setting up in the studio?
I got to be in the chair. I got to do mic checks. I got to be situated. I got to get Paul to clip my mic on for me. All kinds of stuff.
That is true, Geoff. He cannot put his microphone on himself or his earpiece in himself.
Earphone, earpiece.
Look at that fucking Walter Cronkite. Like, no, that's just like
the way it was for week 2 of the NFL season.
On his own.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it.
It goes in your
just
ear.
watch it on your phone?
Yeah, I have a laptop, but we're playing the games on.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to be a mess during those games. I can see it now.
I'm taking Atlanta. It's no bet. It's a real fascinating game. Atlanta, the world seems to be on them, so I don't know. Hopefully, they can get off the map for everyone.
I got multiple tweets, so not 1, 2 tweets on commenting on the win totals show that we did, the draft show, that Rob's going to win because he drafted Atlanta and they're going to be so good. He's like, Teen Girl Squad, the Atlanta Falcons. I don't see it. Why are they supposed to be so good? Because they have Bijan? Great. Now they can run the ball even more than they did last year for no points.
I don't get it. Unless you're in love with Desmond Ridder, I don't get that, personally.
I don't even think his wife is in love with him.
Ouch.
I don't know if he's married.
I remember like they featured his kid when he was in some big games. Cincinnati was amazing in his final year. He definitely had a kid, came to the league.
Yeah, they made the playoffs.
24 years old. Kid, man. People starting early. That's the way it used to be, right, Geoff? Not like us. Now we're old with little kids.
Yeah, listen, Philip came with 2 or 3
Christ.
into the Chargers as a rookie. That was, I guess I can't really speak to it, but birth control is a sin to some, Pat.
I suppose so. That does bring us to the halfway point of the show, which means it's time for a mini version of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
Something that's been bothering me, and it's another millennial trend, or maybe it's more of a Gen Z trend.
You should really change that because you are a millennial.
Well, see, I don't know which trend it is, but what I know is it's these young people who are obsessed with this concept called bed rotting. I don't know if you've heard of it. There's been articles on it.
Obsessed with it. It was like I'm pretty sure it was like
there's
a
multiple
parody.
articles about it. It's a real thing. You look it up. There are multiple articles about it. It's this idea that you should call in sick from work for a mental health day and lay in bed all day long and just scroll through your TikToks and through your social medias and binge watch a show and don't move. This is their idea of self-care. Not get outside and go for a hike or anything. No, let's just sit inside and scroll through TikToks, and that will somehow be to me it seems that just compounds a problem. That's not the right way, I don't think, to do your self-care. To just sit at home and literally rot in bed. It's sort of it's a joking term, but that's what the concept is. And it annoys me that you would just take a day off work to do that, to get yourself right. I don't understand it. That's not what I would ever do.
When was the last time you went on a hike, as you're suggesting?
I went on a hike earlier in August. I didn't enjoy a moment of it, I should add. But I went on a hike in August on a particular trail. I didn't know it was coming.
You got taken on a mystery hike?
I didn't realize that the plan for the day was a hike, and that's what it became.
See, I feel like
get active and do something.
I promise you, when I had nothing to do or no children to tend to, after 1 or 2 of those Jets playoff wins versus the Chargers, I probably did what you're saying you hate the next day, minus the TikTok. Just like lie in bed and watch a show. I could have done it after the Jags game this year.
Sure,
probably would have done it too.
But I wouldn't celebrate that way of life. I would say that is profoundly problematic, and we shouldn't be encouraging people to act that way. We should encourage people, if they need to take time for their mental health, there's 110 practical, productive ways to do that. That don't constitute dropping out of. It's a very antisocial approach of just scrolling through TikToks and watching the Netflix all day.
Okay.
And it's glamorized.
You said, is it glamorized or is it just on TikTok?
No, I believe it's being glamorized. I see the articles.
You, for years on this show, have basically preached this, except you weren't in your bed, you were on your couch. I don't like going outdoors. I'm an indoorsman. I don't want to go do anything.
You can do these things, you can do all kinds of stuff indoors. Go to the gym. That's a great way. Go on a car ride. That's a great thing to do. Go to the movies. That's fine. Then you're out and you're in society and you're doing stuff. You can be an indoorsman and still not bed rot with your day. Take a day off work to go lay in bed and watch the TikToks all Wednesday. I'm sorry. I just don't think that is in any way, shape, or form a healthy expression of for oneself.
Is anyone saying that it's a good thing? Anyone?
It seems like it's kind of glamorized.
When you're saying it seems like that, have you seen anyone say this is really cool? This is what people should be doing, or is everything that you've seen been like this is outrageous?
It's considered like I'm looking at the very first thing on health.com. It's a new self-care trend. What is that but glamorization?
I mean, this was the same thing when people were eating Tide Pods. They were glamorizing that because they were talking about it? And it was stupid?
And another article, actually, it can be a very legit form of self-care.
I mean, it probably can be, right? I mean, Geoff, I'm not going to lie to you. This was a lot of my college experience was doing this. Just deciding, hey, I'm not going to go to class. I'm going to lay on my couch, smoke weed, and watch Family Guy for like 8 straight hours.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
And even days I thought I was going to class, you realize, oh shit, I'm not going to class.
Like, we all lived through the pandemic. It was miserable to have to be indoors by yourself all day doing nothing.
Sounds awesome.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
No, I don't
sound
mean that-
awesome.
He's
It
just talking
sounds
about
antisocial.
He's talking about the pandemic in general. Geoff just wishes that would come back. Good
Geoff.
time for Geoff.
Pro
No, but,
people
like,
having heart
you
attacks, pro pandemic.
Pat,
Pro
Again, this is-
not giving awards to people who die on the field, pro stealing. Yeah, Jeff's pro and against many things.
I'll tell you what, Tim. Like, do you know what sounds freaking amazing? And not to harp on this, but like to get a day to lie in bed and do nothing. Like, what I would do for that.
I would rather go to the spa. At least you're getting out of the house.
Well,
I would rather go to the movies.
That's
go
why
to
because
dinner.
you want to tug.
No,
That's why you want to go to the spa.
Stop it.
This
Go
we
to the
know.
movies. Go to the mall and go for a walk. Do something productive that isn't completely So I'm sorry. I don't think that this whole bed rotting thing is something that we should valorize. I think it's. I think it's the wrong solution to what is a real problem.
So
The real problem is that people feel burned out or stressed. I completely appreciate that. And people should be looking after their mental health, and taking mental health days were required. I support that completely, but this is the wrong solution to that problem.
See, I don't know. Paul, you have something to say?
This is the same guy that didn't break triple digits on his step counter a few times last year on this program, correct?
And was I glamorizing? Well, I was working from home that day and not doing anything. I'm not here to glamorize that. I'm not here to saying that like you should be like me and like everyone should live that trend. That so that's sort of off the point I'm trying to make here, which is that this hipster millennial Gen Z trend can't possibly bear fruit.
So let's see. According to many social
Such
media,
a dud. You're such a dud. This trend has always existed.
No, it hasn't always existed.
This was most of my college life. Was this?
No, it wasn't.
It was. You knew me for 1 year
Netflix
of
didn't
college.
exist. TikToks didn't exist.
Yeah, we had
You
DVDs,
didn't do
Tim.
these things.
We had DVDs, we had weed, and we had takeout. This is what we did.
I don't agree. I think this is
You
a
don't
very
agree.
fringe.
Here's what
I'm sure there was a few people who lived
Here's
fringe
what I did. No, you
existence.
didn't. I didn't know you, but I know you
No
didn't do
one
that.
was glamour. Nobody was doing this on the regular.
I mean, I was doing it too much, but no one is saying to do. I'm reading the article right now. It's not saying to do it on the regular. It's saying that if you are stressed out and burnt out from things like working too much, social engagements, family demands, schools, that having a day to do this. Now, Geoff, it's funny. I didn't realize this would be coming up, but as a gift to me, my wife's the best. My wife, very nice lady. She took the kids on Sunday morning during Labor Day weekend to a different province to go visit her friends and her kids to give me all of Sunday and most of Monday to like hang out, do whatever I want, knowing that I'm going to be working like 7 days a week for 20 straight weeks. So it was a very nice thing to do. So I did play golf that morning with Tim. And then afterwards, I went home, I got into bed, put on Netflix, watched all of season 2 of Arrested Development, had takeout, woke up the next morning, ordered breakfast for myself in bed, and continued to watch TV in bed. That's what I did. It was amazing.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
It was amazing.
I feel like I did something similar when my wife took our kids to her friend's cottage, and their kids play, and everything's great. No one.
I don't like this. I don't like
Although
this.
I obviously don't have your like work life balance, Pat, but I was proactive on Sunday. Like, I am the captain of this ship. Family activities, because I know, like, I'm, just an okay dad, and truthfully, I'm going to be abandoning my family for many Sundays to come.
See, Tim, you're right. When I was doing this 5 days a week for 3 years, it wasn't super healthy and a bad idea. But there was a reason that myself and so many people, even that I know, used to do stuff like this all the time because it's just being super lazy and not doing anything. To do it now is fucking awesome. It's great.
But I don't think we glamorized it either. It wasn't like, give me props, guys. I missed all my classes today and smoked like this.
You just finished glamorizing the both of you doing this exact thing.
No. Oh, now I'm glamorizing it as a father with multiple kids. And like the concept of it is more amazing now than it was in college.
Get out of the house and do something that day.
I'm out of the house all the time.
Go to the movies. Go play. You played golf, though, at least. That you did something.
Yeah, but I didn't do anything. But I didn't do anything on the Monday.
Go to the spa. Go to the gym. Go on a hike. Do something.
You act like I don't do these things.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking.
Who are you talking to? What do you mean? You're talking to me and
the audience. I'm talking to the audience.
Does
I don't know if you're someone who's active.
Alone count as something?
What?
If you say go do something, what if the thing I choose to do is go to McDonald's alone?
Yeah, to get a diet, to get a dollar drink.
You better eat in. You better eat in.
When was the last time you ate in a McDonald's without kids, Geoff?
Oh, I couldn't even remember. Why?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I actually don't. I actually do it on occasion because you get it the freshest and hottest. I don't like to eat while I drive, so.
You live legitimately 3 minutes from
20
McDonald's.
minutes early for an errand or something.
Yeah, but I don't go to that McDonald's too often. They get my orders wrong too often. I just can't be bothered.
So
I go to a different one.
So where do you go to get McDonald's? How far do you drive to go to the McDonald's?
There's one on the there's one on the
How
Bedford
are you
Highway.
complicating McDonald's? You're
Hold on,
ordering for 4.
The one on the Bedford Highway, the one that's in Bedford?
Yes.
That must take you 25 minutes to get to.
No, it takes like 12.
Oh,
13 minutes.
I want this to be timed.
It doesn't take that long.
Paul's saying liar from behind the camera. I don't know.
No,
I
said why?
Oh, why? Because apparently they get
the
his
one
order
nearer
wrong.
to me keeps, and I'm not the only person. I know other people who live in this general vicinity who will tell you.
What do they get wrong? I'm curious what your change up is.
Because if, for example, I can't stand ketchup on my burgers, like it's disgusting. I have ordered. Yeah, well, fair enough. I know you like it so much, you'll scream at people not have to put a mask on to get your burger with ketchup. But like if I want, I'll order a hamburger and get a McChicken, or anyway, any number of things. Things have gotten wrong. I order the breakfast burritos and they don't come. Anyway, I've had enough mess ups and mix ups with this place that unless I am in person in that spot and can look it over, anyway. It's just easier for me to go down the road 7 extra minutes and go to one that's more consistent.
So, Geoff, to your point, when I was doing the bed rotting during college, and even a little bit after college as well, people would look at me and say, hey, that Pat, he's probably pretty depressed because he doesn't do anything. And they were probably right about that because most of my week was doing that. But to get to do this like once every 8 months or something, I get it. I absolutely get it.
Well, I'm against it.
Yeah, it's because you don't do anything.
I do things.
You're not as out in it for all, like you said, there's 110 things that you could do instead of doing this. Can you list the 110 things, please?
I don't have them off the top. I gave you 5 or 6 or 7.
You had go to the movies, go to McDonald's, and go for a hike, and go to the gym. There's 4.
Go to the mall. Go on a drive. Go visit some relatives. That's a good start. I mean, just going on a walk in your neighborhood, or if you have a dog, go walk your dog.
You realize the point of this is because people are being too active. They need to do something else. They want to calm down and take a break from all this.
This is a different type of activity. This is a self-recharging type of activity. This is one that should charge your. All these things I'm recommending should charge your batteries, not deplete them.
But most people would think that this is what I'm constantly
Tim acts
doing.
like he's above like sitting on his goddamn couch watching 6 episodes of something. Is bullshit.
Which is actually what he does.
Yeah, exactly.
I can understand it if you're hungover. I've been there. I can appreciate that. But beyond that type of situation, or if you're sick, I can understand that. But beyond that, if you're, I'm sorry, I just think this is a trend that does not have a good ending to it. Like you said, like it's easy to slip into these habits, and these habits do not yield good fruit. So
Yeah, but
best to avoid it.
But no one is saying to do this every day of the week.
Very difficult, though. You start with one, and then one becomes two, and it's just perfect abstinence is always better than perfect moderation.
It doesn't. That nothing would suggest that this is happening. The reason that I was able to do it is because I literally wasn't taking a break for anything. This was just my life. If people actually are doing this, are they? Because it says to get away from work, school, family demands, or social engagements. That sounds like you're doing things.
No,
it doesn't. That's not what doing things are. What would you say doing things are?
I think this leans more towards people who are in their 20s.
I see how it is.
Well,
in your world, you told me the article to look at, and I'm looking at it, and you're saying not what it says. You're just you want to put on whatever you think.
You're just imagining them having as busy of lives as you have.
This trend is popular amongst Gen Z who may feel burnt out from work, school, family demands, or social engagements. Well,
these are people who are like 23 years old, who are the same age essentially you were when you were doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was doing I was a very bad way to live, and it was easy to slip into these habits.
I didn't have to do these things. I wasn't working. I wasn't going to school because I was skipping school to do this. Never saw my family, and maybe some people would come over at night and continue to smoke weed with me. That was it. But if these people are actually doing these things, I could see wanting to get away. I get it. How many of our listeners and viewers do you think are doing this right now? Because I'd say a lot.
Very few. Very few.
Come on.
I bet you.
Who do you think is watching the show?
People commuting to work.
Tim.
I bet you 60+% of your audience listens to your shows going to or coming home from work.
Maybe coming home from work. There's a lot of people. Geoff, you would know this. Light up a joint, turn the show on Tuesday or Wednesday evenings, and just sit there and let it play.
Yeah, let it play. Walk the dog. Go walk.
Except for our one friend who watches it at 3 a.m. in Munich.
Walk the dog with a joint and keep those cold mountains blue. Let's go. I mean, I don't know what other people's listening habits are, but I'm kind of just listening on the go most of the time. Entertains me sitting somewhere waiting for kids or something.
Well, Paul, let's throw it to you because Tim is very anti this. I see the benefits of this, and I think Geoff does too, and I would enjoy doing it. What do you think?
I think that guys like me and Tim who don't have kids probably can't relate because we do have a lot more free time. I have a dog, but my God, it's nothing like what you guys have to deal with two young kids who constantly need stuff from you. So, yeah, having a day or a day and a half off where you're able to just, watch TV and do nothing seems like it would be pretty soul-healing. I can relate, and I can see how it would be really a big deal for you guys. I have quite a bit of free time.
Yeah, but
so I get to do this stuff quite a bit. I get to watch, Netflix and stuff like that. But you guys don't have time for that. You have kids waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You have to tend to that.
Oh, 6 would be so nice.
Yeah.
Be the best. Maybe that's the difference, Tim.
Maybe.
Well, Tim does have main character.
But the vast preponderance of the people who are in this article. No, but the vast majority of the people who are in the age demo this talking about probably do not have children. Probably do not have a young family.
Well, Desmond Ritter does. We just covered that.
I said the preponderance of, not everybody.
But there's also a new psychology. I don't even know if I'm saying this right. Among working people at jobs seem to care less than ever. Working hard for someone else, unless you actually own something.
Did you see the new season of South Park? The episode
it's called,
where Cartman
almost
took the job on? That's what I'm thinking of.
Some of your friends will consider you an idiot for working hard for someone else to make more money. Kids.
Okay, but that's true, and I think there's some validity to what you're saying, but that's not quite the same point that I was making here.
Yeah, but it's the generation, their outlook. Who cares? I'm just gonna lie around for a day.
I would say that is probably not conducive to a society that is dynamic.
So what are you doing about it?
We'll be worse off as a society if people tend to use their free time to do nothing rather than be productive or creative in some way. We'll all pay for it in the end.
Well, it sounds like these poor people are burnt out. I know what it's like.
I don't doubt that they are.
I
but I'm
know
saying
what
that
it's
this
like
is
to be burnt out. Even before I had
So do
kids.
So do I.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I know what it's like to be burned out. Absolutely.
Sure.
Everyone burns out in different ways and different things, but like I don't think laying in bed all day and scrolling through TikTok is the answer. I really don't.
12-minute shoveling shift is not what Pat is talking about for you.
Thank you,
getting
Geoff.
burnt out,
Thanks, Geoff. Thanks, Geoff.
But just think about when we worked at Fantasy, Geoff. I mean, I would like to put it on record that I worked harder than you did there because I was working 80 hours a week. There would be a point during every football season where I just kind of, I needed a day just to do nothing and like basically like lay in my room in the dark before I could like recharge and keep going again. I didn't have kids at that time. I was just working really hard. So maybe that's what these Gen Z people are like. They're just working too hard.
Go for a hike. Telling you people.
Yeah, that's exactly what I should have done. I should have went for a fucking hike.
Or
that would have made
swim
me
or
feel
something.
great. Paul?
I think so.
Tim keeps saying go for a hike, and he went for a hike at the beginning of August. So what have you been doing for the last month?
And he hated it.
I go for hikes like pretty much every single day. To an
And it
extent.
seems like he got tricked into his hike by how he described it.
They didn't see it coming.
Go for a hike. My last one was 5 weeks ago.
Also,
Practice what you preach.
unless you're someone who enjoys hiking, hiking fucking sucks.
Sure. Then if that's not your cup of tea, do something else. Go to a beach, go to a mall, go to a spa, go for a nice car drive. Do something outside of the house. Go to the VLTs if that's what makes you happy.
That's your suggestion? Go play.
No.
Go gamble in the bottom of a bar on slot machines. Is your advice to people, Tim?
No, I'd like to recant that last sentence. I do not agree with it. I wish I had not said it. Don't do that. But do something out of the house that's productive, that recharges you, that isn't just laying down in bed, rotting away and whittling away your day.
I want
Going to the
to
gas station
hear
for
from the
scratching.
I want to hear from the people on this. The people who are watching this show. I mean, if you're listening to the audio podcast, you can come to YouTube to comment or tweet at me, Geoff and Tim. Doesn't bed rotting sound nice? Yes or no? Are you for it or are you against it? If it was you who got to have 24 hours in bed, just laying around, no obligations, you can order some takeout. You have to walk down to the door, get it, bring it back up to bed, maybe throw it on a plate, but fuck it. Maybe just eat it right out of the bag. I don't know. I think it sounds pretty good to me. I want to hear from you guys. Philadelphia at New England. Is this America's game of the week?
Yes, Nance's Romo are here.
The
They
Patriots?
aren't with you?
No,
Really?
I
Dolphins
have-
and Chargers are two playoff teams. I would have figured that would have been the marquee game.
no, I got the it's like Gumbel and Trent Green.
Okay, no, fair enough. I wouldn't have thought this would have been the
I
one.
think, but no, I know Nance is here.
Okay, well then it is America's game of the week. Yeah,
Well, no, America's game of the week is a Fox game.
you're right. This is the CBS marquee game. You're right.
For most of the season, as we'll probably see, as we recall, they like to almost have such light, like they have an Arizona playing someone and the Chargers playing someone, and then they have like some super game that they don't go head to head with. But obviously, it's week one, and when we were younger, CBS wouldn't even have afternoon games. They'd have like the U.S. Open men's
Correct.
tennis
Correct.
finals. They almost gave up on week one. Then they realized football is like where all the money is, clearly. But yeah, it's America's game of the week. I like the home underdog. Scary.
You like the Patriots?
I do too.
Plus,
I do too.
Okay, Patriots, huh? So I believe it's Tom Brady Appreciation Day. I think they're putting his number into the rafters or something like that.
Bring him up to the booth. Well, I guess they probably can't because he's contractually signed with Fox to start next year. So I guess they can't.
Yeah, is that what it is? He's just bed rotting for a year before he goes into the booth?
I'm sure Tom Brady, who is one of the most obsessive people about his diet and his activity, is not doing that. I like the Patriots here because you give this. If this game was in week 6, I'd like Philadelphia. It's week 1. Belichick's had an entire offseason to prepare for this game. The Eagles are coming off losing a Super Bowl. It's in New England. He said it's Tom Brady Appreciation Day. There's a lot of things that make this a weird week 1 spot game. for the Patriots or a bad spot game for Philadelphia. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think the Eagles are going to win by 3. I think the Patriots cover the number.
Oh, a Fienberg.
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a very compelling football game. I think the Patriots defense is going to play well, and that Hurts is going to have to make 1 or 2 spectacular plays in the fourth quarter to win it, which I think he can do. But Patriots are very, very live in this game.
Are you teasing them up then? You get 10.5?
No, not enough to do that. I'm not playing that there.
I'm going to take Philadelphia in this game. I don't think that these two teams are even whatsoever. Maybe you're right with Belichick, the entire offseason, spot game at home for New England. I think there's going to be a lot of emotions running through Foxborough with Brady being there. Maybe some conflicting emotions because they can look at Brady and see that they have Mac Jones as their quarterback, and he's a bag of shit, and he sucks. So that's a problem when you're trying to score points. Can you limit... Is the Patriots defense good enough to limit this offense? And it's not like the Eagles are running out some terrible defense at the same time, and they can block. They're going to give Jalen Hurts time. And if there's one thing, Geoff, that we have seen the Patriots over and over and over struggle with is a quarterback who can move. And last time I checked, Jalen Hurts, he can move.
He certainly can. I do overall agree with Tim's assessment. And, I'm sure like Mount Model and number guys will think we're idiots. But if this game wasn't a month, this exact game with the exact spread, I'm betting the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. I do feel the Patriots defense, who I believe is still really good, will be really good on Sunday. And it can all crash and burn, and this could be the last week 1 game we get of Belichick ever. If they decide to move on mutually or Kraft has just said, nope, time's up. I've given you enough tries to redo this.
Your lips to God's ears.
I believe this will be almost by default, an improved offensive unit. Simply by getting rid of that shit show at offensive coordinator, and people can make fun of Bill O'Brien. I think it's a vast improvement and can actually probably help them move the chains here way more than they did last year. Nothing changes again with my outlook for the Eagles. Will probably be in an NFC title game. Would probably be surprised if they weren't. But this one's going to go down to the wire, and I'll take the points.
All right, I'm on Eagles Island in week 1. You two in the coin, all with the Patriots. Oh, the co-main event.
And I know, for specifics, the Fienberg in its original form wasn't like a 6-point spread. It was like a 4-point spread. It was like, no, we're going to take the points and like this team is going to win the game. This might actually be the most official case for it by its actual rules and standards.
Now, here's a bad sign. Here's why I like my Arizona bet even more. I just clicked on Jahan Dotson, who's trending on Twitter, Tim, because he's going to be so good this year. And everyone is on, quote,
I hope so. I'm keeping him.
The Dotson and Sam Howell bandwagon. That sounds like a real winner.
He went so early in my draft yesterday, like crazy.
I get to keep him in the 8th round, so I certainly hope he plays well.
He went way before I guess you drafted him a couple years ago in the 8th round.
Last year. Miami at the Chargers. Chargers by
Bowl.
Chargers by 3 is the spread. 51 is the over-under. What's your fear level of Tua and the Dolphins right now, Geoff?
High. Very high. I'm nervous as shit. I would love for it to be a stress-free Sunday, but I'd never get that. I'm desperate to win a football game. Like how the last one ended, I am desperate to see my team desperate to win a football game. But
Are you afraid of the Emmanuel Acho tweet that will attend to a loss?
Social media quarterback?
It is the Acho Bowl. I'd be worried about that.
I don't even know. No,
is that guy still working for NFL? I haven't seen much from him recently.
It's on a show.
Fox Sports 1.
That's it. He's on Fox Sports.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, he can die on that hill if he wants. It probably won't end well for him. I mean, maybe you should just jump. I'm just a bottle of nerves, and I told you I had what I felt was a mini panic attack. This team has to show up this year. This is a big year. Like I am over the course of this football season, I will turn 40. Over the course of this football season, I'm going to have a third child. If my life, I need this team to show up this year, or I will be in a bad place. Tim is the one that sent sweet nothings through the summer that this might even be a suicide pick, or that this game is a lock. So he might have an actual case for this game. I am scared. I'm now I'm officially in a place where I will always expect it to go wrong. So I expect somehow it'll go wrong Sunday.
Are there any injuries on the defense for the Chargers that we should be concerned about?
None, unless how much stock. I mean, I will put into a little stock. Davon Henley, who was maybe the best linebacker in the NFL in the preseason. I don't know what that means, but by PFF, he's a 5th round pick. Our boy Ryan Noonan, who loves defensive ADP,
Tackle
IDP
props
and tackle props. From the moment the Chargers drafted him, told me he's gonna make a lot of money betting this guy, and if he's healthy, he probably was 2 plays away from unseating Kenneth Murray, who, as we sit here today, I know some people want to know who is my least favorite Charger. It's probably Kenneth freaking Murray. But I hope he has a great season. But no, there are no injuries. We are healthy. We survived camp, God willing. There's not a hyperextended knee that's going to be reported. But tomorrow's the first injury report of the year, and we are quite healthy for this sucker coming into it. So maybe, if you're the Chargers are always hurt, well, today we are healthy.
So you're taking the Dolphins?
No, I'm going to take the Chargers. And I just want your opinion on something. No troll here. Because obviously I know I'm aware. Better than Tim, I'm self-aware, at least. I can wear that badge if it's going to go to one of us. More self-aware. But I do acknowledge I live in a Charger bubble. I'm not on Reddit like Tim. I'm not trolling other people's sites to see what their Reddit boards are saying. But I've seen the Chargers numbers dip in a lot of the future markets, and I believe this was this thing where, because last season was so hard, it was so embarrassing. It took a long time maybe for people to decide that they want to bet the Chargers. So maybe their movement has come down later in the offseason, but the numbers are moving down. But then people make fun of me saying I'm making that up in my head that no one is in on the Chargers, which would be nice. Because a lot of years people are. I don't mind if no one is in on them. We could probably use a year like that. But how do you sort of see it? Or am I just crazy and I didn't even ask a real question?
You didn't ask a real question. You just kind of rambled and went in circles for a while.
No idea what you were supposed to say to that.
I think if I can, I've known you a very long time now, that if I can just reach in and grab the essence of what you were trying to say is, Pat, is it just me, or is everyone back in on the Chargers again, or is that just all in my head? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's kind of my question. But all offseason, no one was in on them because, to say you're in on them, then you get hate tweets because of how dumb you are and, they're just going to burn your money. But, I feel quietly, now that the season is here, people are yeah, I'm in on the Chargers. Yeah, I'm in on the Chargers. But, again, maybe that's just my orbit, so I can acknowledge that. And a lot of the mean commenters want to let me know that. But I'm asking you. I acknowledge I could be nuts. I am.
Everyone who writes about football on the internet is in on the Chargers. They will always be in on the Chargers because if you go to PFF, they look like the best team that's ever been assembled. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, sadness.
They're the perfect team. In a laboratory, you couldn't put together a better team. But the world is lived, in practical terms, not what is in the lab. So,
do you think that Coach Staley is too busy bed rotting to come up with good big game plans? You could probably do that
is
in
the
bed.
biggest fear. The biggest fear I have in picking the Chargers here is that Staley does something completely moronic. That is something he's more than capable of doing. And Geoff will let you know that in that playoff game, he went completely against type, and he started doing things that he didn't do all year. He was punting in spots where he would never punt. Like he switched his game plan up in the worst possible way in that playoff game. He would be my biggest fear. Talent-wise, the Chargers are a more talented team. I don't think there's going to be a ton of Dolphins fans traveling in early September out to LA for this game. I don't think it's going to.
Ooh,
not that the Chargers ever have home field advantage.
It's not a travel.
Yeah,
hold on. It's not a travel. It's like a life transplant. Like, they're just two big, huge American mega.
It's still early in the year. I don't think you're going to have.
They're not
as many
traveling. They live there.
I still don't think you'll have as many.
But I still don't think they're going to travel, Geoff.
No, because it's still incredibly hot.
It doesn't.
And early in the year.
I don't think every 5 years. Like any Tom, Dick, and Harry who is a Dolphin fan will go to the game. And in LA, with a population of like over 30 million, it doesn't matter what team. There are enough Tom, Dick, and Harrys that like grew up in Miami, moved to LA, or were Dolphin fans. Like, know what? You're right. People are not like Buffalo in the winter going to travel when they play in a warm weather. It's like, oh, we can make a vacation out of it. No one from Miami is going to LA for a vacation to see the football game. It is the sheer number of transplants that live in LA from all over America that will wear their teal into that stadium. It will be
and as such will be less passionate and less loud than the people who would travel great distances to come there. So I actually don't think you're at a huge disadvantage in your home.
The crowds are never that crazy. Like, okay, yes, the Chargers always get outnumbered, but it's not like it's only the Raiders. Like, it's not like hardcore fans are coming. People are on their trips to LA, and the stadium is it's like a goddamn fancy airport lounge. Like, no one is hyped. So I agree with that, but I don't think they're hyped in week 6, whatever traveling fan base you're going to talk to me about either. They'll be outnumbered, but like, it's not an intimidating place if that's what you're talking about.
So just to clarify, the greater Los Angeles County has right around 10 million people, not the entire population of California, as Geoff would try to believe. Also, the travel city is Vegas now. That's where fans are going to travel to go see a lot of these games. LA's never really been the travel city. Geoff is right, Tim. There's just so many people who live there that there's going to be a lot of fans of every single team. So it's not like you're actually traveling. It's not like Miami to LA, which would be a horrible trip, a real long trip, just to go see this game. But if you live in LA, why wouldn't you?
I just am thinking that they wouldn't be the rowdy type of fans that would be going to a road game.
Maybe, but
that's what I was trying to assert.
But you have to remember that, I mean, your dad's a Dolphins fan. People of your dad's age and that like 10-year, he's probably at the lower end and then the 10 years up, which is probably not like the rowdy type. But a lot of those people lingering around who are just Dolphins fans because of the 70s.
Sure. That's true too.
So they have a lot, unlike some of the teams that go there, they do actually have a lot of fans. Although it doesn't seem that way. Yes, Geoff?
I was saying, I know a lot of people from the Marino era whose boobies brought them back a pennant, on their 4-month winter stay away.
I'm taking the Chargers. I don't know if Armstead's going to play. If Armstead doesn't play, Tua might just be on his back, and then he'll have to judo roll to try to get out of whatever the hell the Chargers defense is going to do to him.
Yeah, you're going to see sad Garion on Sunday night.
Garion doesn't get sad like you two morons do, though. Garion just rolls with it. They lost. We have 17 more weeks.
No, but listen, me and Garion, we're like-minded in that the Blue Jays have made summer a torture chamber, and sometimes I read his feed during a game. It's pretty depressing.
Yeah, listen,
he's watching a Blue Jay game.
Gary will get sad about the Blue Jays. Gary will get sad about the Raptors. I mean, we can ask him this on Sunday night. I don't think he has the same sort of passion. He's not like Clam Chowder out here. He's not feeling the passion about Tua and the Dolphins. He likes them. Yeah, he wishes them well. He hopes they do well. If they lose, it doesn't ruin his day.
And I would say, even unlike Charger fans, though there aren't many, like the Dolphin fan of Garion's age is really a tortured soul. They've never been able to celebrate anything. So they truly are like just beaten to, Sundays are fun for football and I hope my team wins. Unlike the Dolphin fans that Tim seems to think exist, the ones that I know are so like they're so hopeful.
No, they're in my face. Dolphins fans that I know are in my face.
But they're not like they're hopeful in this moment, and they desperately want Tua to stay healthy. But they're not a cocky bunch.
Well, we run in different circles, I guess.
Well, we have it's Tim's dad and our other friend Tim, who doesn't even really care about the Dolphins all that much in so much as he just wants to troll Cust. That's it. That's what
More
he
than
enjoys.
that. More than that.
It's really not. It's not.
This
That-
was the only game last year where Brandon Staley looked like it's the only game in his Chargers tenure where he looked like a great defensive coach. I was going to say mastermind, but like that would be such an egregious compliment.
I'm on
even for
Chargers
those
Reddit.
3 hours.
I'm on Chargers Reddit right now. And the top post is just ready to be hurt again. And it's just a picture of me being heartbroken about last year and him with a giant prescription bottle pouring pills called Chargers hype into my emotional well-being.
Yeah, no, I believe. Listen, I am a juxtaposition. I think that was a word I got wrong last year. I don't know if I nailed that there.
No,
but
you are the justice of position, like you said.
Yeah, you got the word right, but you didn't use it correctly.
My justice of position here this year is like, yes, in this show, I've acknowledged, or through the course of the bit, that I am prepared for fun and sadness, and I believe my expectations are healthy and will lead me to like a mentally healthier season. But at the same time, I'm also acknowledging I feel like I had a panic attack 2 days ago, which is because of week 1. So I don't know what I don't know. I do not know. But
Jeff,
I am
Tim.
Yeah.
There's a thread that says, where do you rank Staley in terms of AFC coaches out of 10? Like, with 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Someone this could be Jeff's burner for all we know. To get to the playoffs last year with that many injuries was really good. To fuck up the Jacksonville game was really bad. So 9 or 10 out of 10.
No, I would never, and I've never posted, let alone been on Reddit. But I do think he's such a he was
so terrible in that game. I give him a perfect score.
No, but it's so pathetic. I think I mentioned this in the offseason that for the Chargers actually to get to 10 wins last year, in some ways, maybe I'm glad handing, maybe I'm putting air in their tires, but it felt so tumultuous. There were so many times I didn't think we would sniff it. Tim was positive and told me we would and everything would be okay. But it's like we finally got to 10 wins and some people might have been ready to be like, okay, I guess I'll give Staley a little props. But what happened with Mike Williams in that final game? Like, this guy is just a fucking idiot. He can't even get his props when we should be maybe not even real props, half props. And they're like, okay, this guy's a fucking idiot. And then we get to the Jacksonville playoff game and Staley's a fucking idiot. But then the game starts and we're intercepting everything and playing amazing and all over Trevor Lawrence. You're like, oh my God, maybe Staley's not an idiot. Maybe we can give him the tiniest little props. What an incredible game plan. And then life happens again and Brandon Staley's just a fucking idiot. And the season has ended between that lack of timeout, between that lack of that timeout bullshit in that week 18 versus the Raiders 2 years ago, which was a de facto playoff game, to what happened last year is the season just ends too early. It's ending where it shouldn't end. And whether you believe the Chargers are good or not, they didn't win those games mainly because coaches did really stupid things. And Bosa did something really fucking stupid too. Don't forget either, though. I try to block it all out. But I don't know. The season ends. For all the Herbert jokes or whatever, he hasn't won a playoff game. We should have been on that barbecue so much longer. We should have 2 more playoff games of seasoning under us. But we don't, because we cost ourselves everything all the time. And we'll do it again. But we'll beat Miami, I pray, I hope. I need to.
Lay your cards on the table. What bets do you have on the Chargers going into the season? We know about the Herbert one. You tweeted it out yesterday.
Yeah.
What other bets do you got on the Chargers this year, Jeff?
Just standard Chargers to win the Super Bowl. 30-1, 25-1. It's a lot, but Vegas would be an expensive time. They actually got there. Herbert MVPs, 15-1, 10-1. To win the division. Exact division. Chargers first, Chiefs second, Broncos third, Raiders fourth. I posted yesterday that book that, they posted Herbert to be NFL MVP and Super Bowl MVP 150-1. And I bit on that. I don't even know if that's good fair odds or good value, but just for them to get there and me to D'Lo Brown walk around Vegas with 150-1 Herbert Super Bowl MVP ticket, they'd be worth that'd be worth losing money for. So yeah,
Tim,
I'm prepared. I lose money. That's okay. You got to bet a lot because if it ever happens, I'm gonna buy like 10 grand in merch. They actually want anything, so I need to win that money.
do you remember Robbie Anderson changed his name?
Chosen.
Yeah, but do you remember what he changed it to? Like what the name was?
Robbie.
Chosen.
It was Robbie. He changed it to Chosen.
So it was Chosen Anderson?
Now it is.
No, it's not.
Or
Now,
Robbie
now it's Robbie Chosen. He's on the
It's
Dolphins.
like a
by
Joe
the way.
Stumpy Pete Stumpy Joe situation.
Very much so. But he was signed to the Dolphins practice squad. I mean, we didn't talk about Tua at all, one of our favorite subjects here. Give me what you think's going to happen to Tua this year, Tim. MVP?
This season? No, this season I think he'll play okay. I hope he stays healthy for the games that he plays. I think he'll be okay if they can block for him. Armstead's probably not playing on Sunday. The Chargers are healthy. I don't think if he does, he's going to be somewhat compromised.
He's a tough guy. He didn't miss a game last year, and he was hurt all last year.
Line up Bosa across from him for the whatever snaps Bosa bothers to play in. He's going to knock him down. And the Chargers just have a good pass rush. The Chargers have a hard-hitting secondary. The Dolphins are not a good matchup. The Chargers are not a good matchup for the Dolphins. And it's a bit of a look-ahead game. The Dolphins go to play Sunday Night Football next week. They just want to get out of this game. So,
someone brought this up to me. I might have been listening to something PFF. It is so weird because every team the Chargers play, they're such an easy matchup to pick on defensively. You just have to run into their soft fronts. Last year, Miami forbid. They forbid to run on first down, or when they did, they didn't have any success, which forced them into second and down. And the Chargers were like, I don't know whether it took 12 weeks into the season, but they were the first team, maybe the second team, because San Francisco the week before. And also Miami was on a 2-week California vacation. So it wasn't it was a bad spot game for them. But the Chargers forced Tua to throw to the sidelines, and he struggled having to make those throws, which is weird to say. I don't know why Miami struggled. For some reason, the makeup of the Miami Dolphins offense might be the only type of offense the Chargers defense actually can succeed against, like how they do it. But if you just want to man up on us and run for 6 yards on first down, and then your whole playbook's open, like that's how you beat us.
yeah, Tennessee next
We
week
give
is
up
a
more
much
long
better
runs than
opponent.
anyone. We give up more 20-yard big plus runs than anyone over the last 2 years. If that doesn't stop, just kill me.
Well, we got a yawn from Paul from behind the camera, so we're going to move on to the next game. Green Bay at Chicago. The Bears are 1-point favorites at home. 43 is the over-under in this game. This reminds me a lot of the Pittsburgh-San Francisco game, but with two much worse teams, Tim, that everyone is going to bet the Packers in this game.
You better believe it. We're teasing them up. They're the fourth end of my teaser. I love Green Bay in this spot. I'm still surprised that the Bears are laying points in this game. I don't see it. The Bears were the worst team in football last year, and they didn't get that much better. And Green Bay got worse with losing Rodgers, but Green Bay is still a much better team than the Bears. And you're telling me that I should expect the Bears to win in week one? That's madness. Absolute madness. I'll tell you right now, Green Bay is on the very short list for super locks. I love everything about the Packers in this game. Pure play against the Bears. Bears won early last year against San Francisco because it was a monsoon at Soldier Field. That is not the case this week. So I really like Green Bay in this spot. I think that they're giving away free money to take the Packers, and I think you should take it.
I have been pretty anti-Chicago Bears on this show, and I do think the Packers are probably going to be pretty good, but I don't know that. Everyone just seems to think they're going to be great all of a sudden because they have Jordan Love as their quarterback and not Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to take Chicago. I just think this is going to be the right side of this game when we go back and look at it. Maybe Green Bay ends up having a really good season, and it starts here and they win 30-3 or something like this. But I think it is kind of telling, Geoff, that the Bears are still the favorite in this game when I don't know who's betting on the Bears.
What's the action? Do you have the split yet?
Okay, we're too early in the week. I don't think that really matters. Although, granted, these lines have been available all summer. I actually want to counter you, Pat.
Yeah,
I am going to be on the Packers. That
course.
shouldn't surprise anyone who wants their win total.
Because you're someone, and everyone's on them.
Okay. But here's the thing. And you are just ignoring. You are so ignoring this. And it makes no sense to me when you say everyone is on the Packers. Chicago's the most overrated goddamn team I've ever seen.
No,
The Justin Fields MVP odds. No, the Lions have more talent and actually like maybe sniff something.
You keep
like
bringing up this Justin Fields thing. You brought it up on the other show. I get what the bet is. I don't think it's going to happen, but I understand the bet. No one's being like, man, Bears Super Bowl, but Justin Fields MVP, that if he has a really great season and somehow the Bears make the playoff, he probably would win MVP. I get that. I understand that.
Guess what, Pat? The most hyped team of the offseason is not going to be like everyone that bet the Bears to do everything they bet them to do are not betting against them week 1. So this feels like a total sharps versus squares game, and I'm a total square. But I'm on the Packers in this one. This could be my super lock as well. The games I am sniffing around on my super lock, we seem to be disagreeing on. So we'll see how that unfolds at the very end. But I disagree that like everyone and their mother is on the Packers to win this game when all I've heard is everyone on their mother loves the Bears to do insane things. I feel like you're
what insane things? Like I don't understand. You mean the guy who hosts the Chicago Bears podcast thinks that the Bears are going to do really well? Do you think the Chargers are going to do well this season, Geoff?
I hope so, but I didn't pick them to win 12 games.
You bet on Herbert to win the fucking Super Bowl. To be MVP.
Their win total was
okay, sorry,
4.5 games more than they won last year. That's an exceptional amount of hype.
Like citing like rant. You're right. That's totally silly and unfair and hurts my argument. My point being is the Bears are so overhyped, and it comes from lots of people who are really in on them and invested on them beyond the Chicago market and their fanboy podcasts that I don't believe it's possible for your betting splits take to come to fruition.
I'm not even thinking about the betting splits. I'm just talking to everyone that I have talked to so far this offseason. The people that I respect, the people that I know, everyone's just in on Green Bay. Everyone is in on Green Bay, and literally no one is in on Chicago. Like
Cam was fired up to take the Bears in our picks.
I don't think the win draft quantifies where
he was excited about the Bears.
No, but you're picking the Bears between the other teams. Like I don't take a team in the win draft. I don't think quantifies.
Yeah, taking them or Carolina or Atlanta. Or
exactly. Pat knows what I'm trying to say there. I don't think it quantifies that you like actually love the team. You're just you might see a little like a smidgen of value in the pick or like it more than your other bad options. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the Packers. I hope they roll. I will say what's really fun about this game from an outsider, but can feel it from the fan base. I golfed with the Bears fan the other day.
Was he on the Bears too? Was he on the Bears?
Oh no, he's actually scared shitless. I'll tell you what he says. That he's nervous as hell in the sense that Bears fans are so downtrodden, many of them, although some of them have 12 wins, in the fact that this game could be a microcosm of the future. The future being they still can't get it right, and the Packers show up with a new quarterback and are awesome again. Like Bear fan will really not be in a healthy headspace potentially on Sunday, and they'll be thinking way farther down the road to unfair places probably for them. And I hope that they can improve on last year. And I feel like there should be something's come out of this where like I hate Justin Fields. I actually really like Justin Fields. I just think some of the conversation around him this year's summer has kind of been unfair to him. And we'll see how that plays out. Packers, maybe super lock. Could be super lock. Let's call it super lock.
Is it your super lock too, Tim?
Possibly. I'll wait to the end of the show when we make our picks to divulge my picks. Unlike Geoff, who feels like giving away everything in advance today, I'm going to hold back my picks for the proper part of the show.
We usually state what it is. Remember we used to play the super lock audio drop?
We did. Then you had a different name at one point. Hard for me to keep track.
Rams at Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 5.5. It looks pretty doubtful that Cooper Kupp is going to play at this point. Still possible, obviously, but that's not good for the Rams offense, losing your best offensive player like that. 46.5 is the total. 5.5 is a weird number. I'm going to take the Rams. I still believe in the Rams' top-end talent, although one of those guys may not be playing in this game. But the Rams played the Seahawks tough last year as well. This could be a pure Fienberg right here, just like Seahawks win by 3 or something like that. 5.5's a lot. I'll take the 5.5.
Me too.
I see like a 0.0% chance Cooper Kupp plays. I think he's going to miss multiple games. I don't even think that's a hot take, right?
I agree. Just like I don't think Kelsey plays till like week
I would
4.
tend
I don't
to-
think.
Whoa. Who said Kelsey week 4?
That's what
He
people
has
are saying.
hyperextended knee.
Yeah,
knee. I can't
hyperextended
imagine
knee.
he plays anytime soon.
Tim's a doctor.
I knew it sounded serious. Sorry.
Look at that dance at a player's injury. Just again, that will be in the campaign ad. That will that little line. Oh, I didn't know it was serious. That little dance.
Please don't
thank you, Geoff.
Please don't do that dance
The
if
Chiefs are
DeMar
struggling
Hamlin
for
doesn't win
targets.
comeback player of the year. That would be a bad look.
Yes, it certainly would.
If what happens?
If DeMar Hamlin does not win comeback player of the year and then you do that dance, as Paul was saying, probably not the best look.
Okay, I made Pizzola a bet with the field, and I feel like I got bad odds because I feel like we did I don't know. We did rounds of golf. We bet like rounds of golf. I don't feel like I'm sure Pizzoli's too smart. He probably got the better end of the deal. And I don't know. I mean, I'll celebrate if DeMar Hamlin. No, there's nothing to celebrate. It's a beautiful miracle, and it's really beautiful to see him out on the field playing and healthy. But again, like, what was rehab? What did he go through?
Jesus Christ.
Woke up.
Died and had to come back to life. The poor guy. What did he go through? What a terrible thing to
He
say.
was like literally healthy 2 weeks later. Like, there wasn't any rehab. Guys go through things to get back on the field.
So you're saying he would have been better off? He would have a better lock on this award if he had a drug problem, went to rehab, and came back?
No,
Jeff
because
thinks
then no
he's
one
been
would
on
give
Easy Street.
then no one would give a shit about a rotational safety playing because other guys are hurt.
Yeah, you know.
I think
you know
he's
what?
getting
You know what?
close to rivals category.
I
at
know.
this
Yeah.
point.
Imagine having DeMar Hamlin as your rival, like Geoff.
And
No,
Michael Block, the two most lovable people in the sports calendar.
people
this
did-
year
people
are Jeff's
did-
biggest
people-
rivals.
Geoff was ahead on that one. People turned on Michael Block very quickly.
Yeah,
Listen,
but then they stopped because no one talks about him anymore.
so I hate
You
the
are.
guys who like who SP's fans love.
Yeah.
No, and that's not even fair. I do not hate DeMar Hamlin. That's the scariest shit we've ever seen. I just believe his journey back to the field isn't as impressive as other journeys, and I probably should shut up.
Yeah.
But it's just a hot take to say this guy who's
it
minus
certainly
400.
is. It certainly is a hot take.
No, all I'm saying is this guy that's minus 400, 500, 300, 600 isn't a shoe-in. He's not a shoe-in. There will be a moment this season where it's a pick'em, and maybe that I will celebrate. Okay, I'll dance for that pick'em on the board for Hamlin.
Seahawks or Rams? 5.5.
Seahawks, stupid game.
Cam was so upset when I said not nice things about the Seahawks. And it wasn't even not
I
nice.
saw that.
I just said they wouldn't go over 9.5 wins.
Yeah, I don't think that's an unfair take. They overachieved so hard last year that, a little regression will leave Seahawk fans sad. And that's, I don't know, Cam. I saw that. He doesn't usually get offended at that stuff.
I would hope you saw it. You were on the show.
Oh, I think you were making fun of him in your other show then too.
Maybe I did it both shows. Who knows?
Yeah, your best bets. I promise you were hard on the Seahawks there too. I promise you were.
It's funny because I'm going to end up like stacking up Geno, DK, and Lockett week 1 on DraftKings, and hopefully they can come through for me again. Vegas at Denver. Denver's a 4-point favorite at home against the Raiders. 44 is the over-under. And what game will you watch less of, Tim? Rams, Seahawks, or Raiders, Broncos?
Well,
There's
That's a good
intrigue because of
question.
Peyton and stuff.
You're not Tim.
There's a hate watch factor to the Broncos that will lead me to watching more of that game. So that, and I took the Raiders and took unbelievable amounts of heat from some people on this show currently. Now there's on a different show.
You want to
for taking
finalize the
Raiders.
bet? You want to finalize it? I mean, you've got the Patriots beating the Eagles week 1. So let's finalize it.
Well, I didn't have them beating the Eagles. I believe, as I said, I thought they would cover the number and lose.
Again, you want to finalize the bet? Raiders versus Patriots wins.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk
You
about
keep
it.
saying we'll talk about it. The
Because we
season
will.
starts.
He's trying
haven't
to.
talked about it
He's
yet.
trying to talk about it.
You keep saying
That's not the forum for that.
That's not the forum to finalize a football bet
No.
on the football betting show.
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so. I like the Raiders in this game for what it counts, and it's not a bet on the Raiders. It's a complete play against the Broncos. I don't think Russell Wilson should be favored by 4 points against anyone in that division, anyone in the AFC outside of maybe Houston. And even then, I might play the Texans. I don't like the Broncos much. I don't think this game should be a 2.5 point spread or 3. I think you're getting value with the Raiders.
3 should probably be the spread, or 3.5. I'm with you on that. It really all comes down to, I think, how the Broncos defense is going to be. If they're going to be elite or not. If they're elite, then they could curb stomp the Raiders here. But if the Raiders offense should be fine. They should be able to move the ball. I don't know who they're stopping. And it doesn't look like Jerry Jeudy's going to play in this game either. He's like 50-50 to go right now with a hamstring injury of his own. So, Tim, I will concur with you and take the Raiders +4 in Denver. The coin, however, Geoff, is taking Denver.
The Broncos win this game by a field.
So
The Broncos. This is like the ultimate Fienberg game, I guess. Because I do believe the Raiders cover, Broncos win. I don't know that I'm actually going to play it, and we could even retire the bit because through the first show it's already bothering me, and I brought it up. So let's just retire it. Broncos win by 3. The spread's 3.5. I'll take the Raiders. Won't watch much.
Sunday Night Football, Dallas and the Giants. The Giants are 3-point dogs at home. We know that Geoff is taking the Giants because he did, as Tim kind of said, he's spoiled. What is going on? He's taking all the home dogs, in-division home dogs in week 1. I, however, Tim, will be taking the Cowboys in this game. Not that I think the Giants.
I am too.
Not that I think the
If it
Giants
was 3.5, yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm with you. The spread is too short. Should be Dallas by 3.5 or 4. So Dallas is the play.
I agree. I think Dallas
I'll do
is-
one pivot. I'll join you guys because I thought, at 3, I will take Dallas. This was the one that I wanted to be against the most. I feel like I saw 3.5s as early as this morning.
Were you in Cam's book?
No, but I'm pretty surprised. I'll take Dallas here. It's the only in-division road favorite that I'm betting on, and I believe there's like 6 of them this week.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Let's check the time codes. We got 26 minutes on the Chargers, 47 seconds on Cowboys Giants.
We could do more. I don't know. I feel like Tim's got them as his number 1 pick in the league.
I like Dallas a lot in this. I mean, I also picked the Giants on our show because I really like the Giants. I think both teams are playoff caliber teams. Just that line is a bit short, and that I expect Dallas to win by a touchdown. They're healthy. They have the most disruptive defensive player in the NFC. And even though Daboll is the much better coach, and I think McCarthy's the much worse coach, all things nevertheless,
I'm tweeting out
First,
selfies of myself from the show.
First,
Jeff
let me
Jeff
take a
looking at his phone.
First, let me take a selfie.
Was
like
I
that
on?
song says.
I don't think I was on my phone, but I was scratching my leg.
Anyway,
Okay.
I really, anyway, I've said what I need to say. I think it's a poorly priced game. I think Dallas should be favored by more. There's value on Dallas.
What is Dallas going to be favored by Sunday evening after the late games? As we're doing Sunday Night Football live on Mayo Media Network in between the late games and Sunday Night Football, what do you think the spread will be for Dallas then?
4.
I would tend to.
We got to go
agree.
through a couple of key numbers, right? So
I think it gets off
Steve-
3 pretty easily.
yeah, and I think it gets off 3.5 too, but I don't think it gets past 4.
So you're saying Dallas is where everyone's going after their bloodbath Sunday to win it back?
Yeah, once the Vikings screw up and lose somehow to Tampa Bay, and the whole world is sitting there, trout faced, they're going to have to. They're going to have to load up on Dallas, which I think is the play here.
Who do you think has a better chance of knocking people out of Survivor and blowing up teasers, Minnesota or Washington?
Washington. Washington was Washington didn't even win the majority of their games last year. I think Minnesota's a better team, so Washington.
They're like Shelbyville. Don't even win half the time.
Barely even win half the games.
Tampa's got real football players. Arizona doesn't.
Yeah, neither does Washington, really. They have a whole bunch of guys people just really hope are good.
I am one of those people.
And F1's not playing.
Oh, God. Okay. Monday Night Football. This will probably be another 47 seconds or something like that, I think. Bills at Jets. Jets are 2.5-point dogs at home to the Bills. 46.5 is the over-under. Reminder again to get in that draw for $500. All you need to do, subscribe, rate, and review the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast, 5 stars, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Do both. Get 2 ballots, and boom, you are in that draw. We'll be announcing the winner, the Week 2 DraftKings show with Tote, Tag, and Tambo. Additionally, download the League Safe app. Click on Games in the lower left, and there's only one open contest. It is the Pick'em League. There's $1,000 up for grabs this week for Week 1. You get the link down in the description. I'm playing it. We went through it earlier with Tim and Geoff about the Chargers and Jets games that are in there and the props you can do it, and it's completely free to play. So unless you're Tim and can't figure out how to log into something, download that League Safe app and play in it if you want to get your share of $1,000 if you make some good picks. Geoff, I'll be taking the Bills. How about you?
I'm taking the Jets.
Okay. The coin
I think the Bills
is taking the Jets as well. And who are you taking, Tim?
I really enjoyed this. Now I'm getting better at production. The reason all that was said before this game is he knows that people are going to just click on this game to see what people have to say about it. And so the only way to ensure that people hear all that stuff is to put it in front of this game. I think that's very ingenious.
Thank you for outing my producing skills there, Tim.
I think it was a master stroke. As you were doing it, I was laughing. I was like, this is really smart. I don't think you've done that before, and it was a really good idea.
Playing the draft,
we're going to win this game by so much. Buffalo doesn't know what's going to hit them. The last time we saw the Buffalo Bills, they didn't bother to show up for a home playoff game. So why would you think they're going to show up for a regular season game in Gotham City when they've got a worse quarterback, a worse running back, a worse wide receiver, a worse cornerback, a worse pass rusher? What does Buffalo do well? Like, even Paul was calling for their coach to be fired halfway through the year. They probably have a worse coach. Like, where is Buffalo better than the Jets? They should be laying 2.5 points on the road. Vegas is telling you that the Bills are 5.5 points better than the Jets, essentially. I think that is absolutely crazy. I don't buy it for a second. It's madness. It's actually more than that. If this game was on a neutral field, it would be Buffalo by 5.5. So really, the Bills would be favored by 8 points, pretty much, if this game was in Buffalo. That's what that line is telling you. That's crazy talk. Who could defend that? Like, how are they going to cover Garrett Wilson? I don't see how they're going to do it. I don't think they have the horses to stop it. The Jets are going to throw back all kinds of safeties, play an 8-man coverage. Great. Then the Jets will just run it down your throat. Every move that you make, we're going to make a better move because we have more talent. What's Josh Allen going to do? Be running for his life when Quentin Williams is chasing him down? He makes stupid decisions. Well, nobody is more opportunistic than Sauce. And if you throw away from Sauce, DJ Hall is one of the most underrated cornerbacks in all of football on the other side who will take advantage. Buffalo's got very, very, very little chance in this game. Good luck, because you are going to need it. The Jets are going to come out, and they've been the story of the offseason, and I think they're absolutely going to be the story of Week 1. This is the first step in a coronation. We are teasing the Jets up to +9. Just giving money away by teasing the Jets up. Buffalo is in for, to win this game, you have to be a tough team. The teams that beat the Jets this year will be the hard, tough-minded, grinding teams. Soft teams like the Bills and the Dolphins and the Chiefs got no chance against us. I can't wait. Bring it on.
Geoff.
I hate that my game is last. I said to Geoff, this is like Christmas morning, and all the other kids get to open their presents first, and I have to sit there and watch, knowing that I, by the way, have the best present of anybody. by far the biggest and best present, and I have to sit here and watch everyone else open their inferior gifts while my much better present sits wrapped in the corner.
Did you know, Geoff, Tim has refused to watch this game with anyone else? That should tell you that all this false bravado is not real. He doesn't want to be seen crying by anyone else like has happened both of the week ones the past 2 years.
Is it because it's so late at night?
It's
No.
a late game
No,
on a
it's
Monday
not.
on a work night.
He doesn't want to watch them lose to the Bills like 40-3 and then have a breakdown and me film it. So no, he has to be secluded away from everybody because he knows this isn't going to go well for him.
I don't
This
know.
is just
I
pop
mean,
psychology. This is just armchair.
Then why won't you? Then,
mean,
then let's film it.
wouldn't
Let's
you
put the
want-
game. We'll watch it live on cam.
you did the Christmas present analogy, and I feel like I may have even given that to you because I hated those late Monday nighters that the Chargers seem to get into lots. But guess what, Tim?
What?
When you rank Christmas presents, there's a power ranked number one definitive A+ Christmas present, okay, for any kid. And that's a new console. Okay, the new console. And you've got your new quarterback and you've got your new console.
Well, hold
You
on.
don't open GoldenEye and play with your friends?
No.
Town.
This is a lot like, I mean, is it a new console to the Jets? Sure. It's a lot like when Tim bought that PS4 and then the PS5 came out the next week.
Well, they didn't tell me that. I didn't know it was happening like 3 weeks later. No one gave me any advance warning, okay? This is different.
Yeah, I sort of didn't mean that Rodgers is the console, but
It's just that we're so good at every position that matters.
I
And
just
Buffalo
mean
isn't.
Tim said he got the best present, and
I
like
did.
the power rank number one present is a new console. So Tim wants to like play GoldenEye alone. Like, what a dud. Like, you got a console. You should be getting together with the boys, Tim.
Look, my team is going to be playing on America's Game of the Week and in prime time a bunch this year. We'll have lots of opportunities to get together and see me play games.
You want to spend Christmas alone?
He wants
but
to fucking bed rot and watch the Jets.
There'll be no idleness during that game. I will be jumping around and cheering and hoping when we're up 33-3 that we call a timeout to force Buffalo to punt the ball back to us again so we can make it 40-3.
And you don't want to do that beside Paul?
Well, Paul was next to me during the game last year when the Jets tore the Bills apart. And, Paul didn't seem to enjoy it too much.
It was insufferable, but
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah,
Go ahead, Paul. What
I
do you
think our
think?
schedule's pretty free on Monday night. We could have, you could hang out like it was like the live golf chat. Just watch, they've got the alternate feed for Peyton and Eli. You guys could go
Look,
head to head
if
with
you
that.
guys want to do that, I'm telling you right now, if that's what you want, if you want to do a live stream from the studio house where I'm watching the game, like the Monday night game doesn't kick off till like 8:30 Eastern time, 9:30 our time.
I don't
But
know
if that's
Pat
what you
wants
guys
do
want to
that.
do,
I'll
I don't care.
hire.
I'm not afraid.
I'll hire someone to come sit here with Tim to make sure that we have it on camera. I'll be fast asleep.
Well, there you go. So we're not going to do this.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
but-
We can do the show.
No.
Paul can set it up. He's going to watch the game. He's a Bills fan. You guys can do the show together. He's a host on Mayo Media Network.
True.
We're just so good, and this game is such a great spot. I wanted Buffalo early. I wanted Philly early. I wanted the Chiefs. I want all these big games early because I expect us when we're fully healthy to start knocking people out. We're Muhammad Ali out here, and you guys are Sonny Liston. I'm waiting for that iconic Week 1 Sports Illustrated style photo of Rodgers soaring down the field, after like his 4th touchdown pass or something. I can't wait. I can't wait. I wish it was now because everything is so perfect right now.
You're not nervous at all?
You know what? I'm not. I'm not anxious. I'm not afraid. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's
Paul, because I think it's my time.
Paul, he's not anxious about this because you know what? It's not downloading an app and putting in your email.
I know.
Yeah, you're right.
I know.
I'm far more afraid of that.
Tim's saying that he's not afraid, but he's like, he seems to be like kind of being afraid of like making bets with Geoff in other situations. But he sounds really confident about this one. I'm looking for a win totals Bills versus Jets bet between the two of us for the course of the season. And if you say for a flat of DC, no, that's rookie numbers. Like we got to pump those numbers up. Like it's got to be something
Flats
worthwhile.
of DC?
Well, I don't even drink DC anymore. I don't even buy that.
Well,
crap.
you can drink whatever it is that you're drinking.
No,
these
no,
days.
like we're like.
He wants to put real money on
Let's
this.
put
Is
like
what
a
he said.
grand. Let's put $1,000 on it.
If you're so confident,
You sound really confident. $1,000. You're
it's
so
nothing
rich.
No, I
to
don't
you.
wanna do that.
It's
You're
nothing
so
to you. You're out here
rich,
dropping
stingy
hundos on dinner all the time now. What's
Peanuts
peanuts
over a full season? $1,000 is peanuts, Top Cat. Come on.
I don't want to
$1,000.
do it. No.
Wow.
No.
So it doesn't sound like you're very confident.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you have
You know,
that much confidence.
Like, is that because like that's above? Like, what is your threshold then, Tim?
That's too much money. I don't want to bet that much money.
Have you ever bet that much on anything in your life?
Not 1,000. I don't think so.
All right, well, what's the number?
What would you bet?
What's the number
What's
for
the
you?
most
500?
you would bet?
$500.
You got to take 500.
All right, fine.
Bills versus
Fine.
Jets. Win totals. If they tie, then nobody owes anybody anything.
Yeah, if they tie, it's Bush.
Yeah.
Whoever wins more games than the other.
What if
Yeah.
one team sweeps the other team?
Doesn't matter. If the Jets get swept, but they win 12 games and Buffalo wins 11, then the Jets have a better season.
Not
Yep.
what I said.
Yeah, it's most wins. All right, I like it. I like how you'll take these bets with Paul, but never me.
I don't know.
Tim has a good history
Paul's also
in
a-
these bets
Paul's
against
also
me.
a fan.
He does, yeah.
I-
Tim
has been
does
eating my
beat you a
lunch
lot on
historically.
these.
So even though I get
That's
like
not the first, yeah.
even though I get CLV on him, he backdoors it quite a
If
bit.
Paul wasn't a fan of the Bills, Tim wouldn't make this bet.
Correct. I would not. I think Paul is partially making this bet as a scared Buffalo fan.
Like I guess, yeah, that's the thing. He's okay doing like fan versus fan, but like when Pat comes up with a bet, he feels like,
Yeah, exactly. Jeff's read this exactly right.
Well, I mean, I will throw out there the reason that the Bills are probably favored in this game, and as you even said, Tim, like they're running back basically the same team as last year, right? They have Von Miller back. It looks like where he's at the first 4
Maybe.
games.
and he's not
Yeah,
playing. And I
who
worry
re-
about
who
that
really
pass
cares?
rush. The Bills' offensive line could be an issue, and that steps right into a strength of the Jets. Are the Jets ready to hit the ground running? That is a question. I don't know. Didn't the Bills play Monday
reason
night
being-
last year and just beat the shit out of the Rams? It was
No,
over
the
like
Bills
That
were
was
the
Thursday
opening
night.
game.
Yeah, it was
the
Thursday
opening
night.
game against the Rams, and they did blow them out. That's right.
Just the reason being that the last 4 years, 10 wins, 13 wins, 11 wins, and 13 wins. Like they have a history. They have a history of being a very good regular season team. That's probably why they're favored in this game.
Okay.
You know,
I get what you're saying.
You said they didn't show up and they lost to Cincinnati in the playoffs. Like, okay, maybe they're not as good as Cincinnati. They're like not as good as Cincinnati or Kansas City. They could be
They
the
should have
third.
lost to Buffalo or the Dolphins with a third string quarterback. Like,
They didn't lose to Miami with a third string quarterback though. There's a lot of things that could happen.
but the point stands. And if you looked at like this game on a neutral field would be Buffalo by like 5.5, and in Buffalo would be like 7.5. That's what those numbers are telling you. I think that's silly.
Tim, is it possible that, everything is sort of fixed and Park Avenue's actually set it up for you to just have a great night on Monday?
I sure hope so. It'd be nice for a change for things to be fixed in my direction.
Well,
That would be a rarity.
The
That would be a rarity.
The last time a Jets game on Monday Night Football was fixed and Tim had like an orgasm while watching the game. Tell me how that turned out for you.
Well, they won that game by 1 million points.
And then
The season went off the rails, but they did blow the Lions out that night.
you should
That
have
was
heard
a fun game.
the Hall of Fame bust was being described about Sam
Look, if you
Darnold,
can't have fun
Geoff.
in that situation, when can you have fun?
Yeah, I remember that night.
I'm ready. I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready for this game. I'm excited. I think we're going to win the game. I think Buffalo is going to have a down year, and I can't wait. Jumbo Jets. I might wear the victory hat on Sunday night in anticipation of the win I know that's coming.
Sunday Night Live on Mayo Media Network, right around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can tune in live, chat with us. Garion's going to be here. Tim in studio will be doing it. And we have some fun that Tim doesn't even know about yet that we will be doing live in studio.
Good.
Strippers!
It is probably too early in the year for us to do our power rankings of teams, so we have to fill the content with something, right?
That's right. We did it. We got through week 1. We're back, baby!
What a short show, too. That was quick.
We're at 2.5 hours.
Oh, I'm well aware. This was a marathon show.
This is like what every show is every week.
But don't people hate when we go over 2 hours?
No, they don't.
Okay.
It's funny because I was looking at the YouTube numbers. Like the YouTube numbers, only one show does better on, I mean, it doesn't do better, but like one show does really great on video for like the first 4 weeks of the season. Me and Seeley's show, when people are like super jazzed about their fantasy team and need to know their rankings. And then enough people are like 0-4 or whatever, and they stop tuning in. And it gets like cut by 80% one week, or down 20% one week, down 10%, down 20%. And then by week 17, it's like the lowest rated show. But it's also the lowest rated audio podcast of anything in the rotation. But the longer this one goes, and this one gets by far the most downloads, it's not even close. The longer it goes, the more downloads it gets.
Suppose that's because if it goes super long, either Jeffrey or I have gone in a very bizarre direction.
You have nailed it.
I always say this at the Super Bowl, and it doesn't have the context of having that week one feeling in the moment when I'm saying it. It's not even close. And I guess it's easy to say when you're not a Chiefs or Patriots fan. Week one crushes the Super Bowl.
100%
crushes it. It's not even close.
I agree with that.
This is the pinnacle of it all. This is the first bite of our monstrosity ice cream sundae with the brownie and the fudge and the cookie that has a brownie baked inside of it. Like, that is what this shit is. It crushes the Super Bowl. It crushes it. And we have it. We have it right now.
Brownie with a... Say that again?
It's a cookie with a brownie inside of it.
How do you put a brownie in a cookie?
I
don't know.
A championship
belt?
But there's like an eatery, Jack Astor's, that's on the dessert menu.
They make some good stuff too.
You
ever had their chicken fingers?
They're chronic. Chronic
so
fingers
good.
Is how
so
me
good.
and my buddies would describe them over there.
They're
Chronic
so good.
fingers. They're not chicken fingers, they're chronic fingers.
I'm with you. I haven't had dinner yet. I might go to Jack Astor's to get some chicken fingers now.
That's a funny pivot. Yeah, they let the kids draw on the table. The games are always on the screen. It's a great. I like going there and like we want to go out for dinner, and I still want to watch the golf, and it kind of like can check a lot of boxes, you know.
Yeah, week one or Masters Thursday.
And I think Thursday and Friday of the tournament are right there with it too.
Yeah, I feel like that's become less and less a thing for us, or for me at least.
Week one, because honestly, Pat, as you get older, like getting like, it's like a holy grail. It is like your wife knows to step up. Your mom knows that she might take the kids. It is like, if you don't show up to week one, that's worse than not showing up to the Super Bowl. That's like a party. Like week one, attendance is mandatory.
In the studio house, we do usually have really good week one attendance the first 2 years. That is true.
Week one, even our buddies who don't like football, they will slink down those stairs and we'll all be happy to see. Like, you don't even have to be in it just to know week one is mandatory where I live. You will be ridiculed. Like, you better be going to the hospital for somebody to not be at a week one hang.
And you should be able to come back week two, no problem, because if you go to the hospital with something serious, you didn't overcome anything, and you're fine.
He would have been at our week three hang. No, unless, here's the thing. If there really was a fake Damar Hamlin, then clearly he was rehabbing somewhere. I have to acknowledge, like, I'll give that guy credit. But if
Hold on. I may have broken Patrick.
Oh, that was
Sorry.
good. I think that was the funniest thing you've ever said on this show.
Well, I'm glad that 2 hours and 45 minutes in, I was able to hit one tee shot down the middle.
Oh.
No, but if maybe he's fake. So if he was fake, then I need
Maybe.
Maybe he's fake. Maybe he's fake. Okay.
No, I'm saying if that was if the real Damar Hamlin was trotted out through the playoffs in the Super Bowl, then yeah, his rehab was like a week and he was up and at him, ready to go again. I'm happy for him. He's alive. It's beautiful. He's still playing football. I just don't think it's necessary to glad hand him over players who will actually contribute.
Geoff, we may have a friend who shows up. Very rarely seen friend who shows up. But he might show up and dump a bag of cocaine onto the table and then split it into one big line and say, no, that's too much. And then he'll separate it into 2 lines and then do both lines at the same time.
Hey, I've done that with bowls before, so I can relate.
With what?
Like, that bowl is too big to smoke, but I'll break it into 2 bowls, and that's enough.
And then you just do them back to back instead of doing it all at once?
Yeah. It's harder that way, too.
Yeah, this guy is a real, you don't see him much, but when you see him...
Was he on the show last year? Was
No.
he on your Sunday show?
No, he was not on the
he's
Sunday
crazier than your friends you brought on the
Oh,
Sunday
yeah, he's crazier than... You can't put this guy on air. It's impossible. It would be rated X, put it that way, especially on a live show. Like you said, we don't see him too much. He's very fired up when we do see him. Either way, thank you all for watching the Pat Mayo Experience. I want to thank the Coin, Paul, Geoff, and of course, Tim Undercust.
Tim and August.
You didn't give Superlocks.
Not my name.
That's right.
Or my free money.
After I almost tore my abductor, although I don't think that's actually my abs.
Side-splittingly funny.
It is. I have to go rehab now, and I can win Comeback Player of the Year.
Well, at least you've overcome something.
It's true. Superlocks. Let's do that. I have. I was going to say Washington +7. I have Arizona +7 as my Superlock.
Packers.
Yeah, Geoff and I are on the same train.
Oh.
Packers +1.
See who's.
Okay, we're taking our 12 and 6 from last year, Tim. We're rolling.
And
over,
we're rolling. We're rolling.
Survivor picks of the week. I am going to ride with you, Tim, and take Baltimore.
Okay.
Well, we can all go down together and start again, Baltimore.
Well, that's good news because I should have a week 2 Survivor League that is going to be starting with $10,000 guaranteed and completely free to enter. So hopefully I'll have that link for you very soon. And they're not going to be like, "Hey Pat, the link will be ready on Monday." Oh, it's Monday. Is it ready? Oh no, it'll be ready by Friday. Is it ready on Friday? No. It's going to be ready after the weekend. Is it ready? No. Is it still ready now? No. Is it going to be ready by week 1? Yeah, of course. Is it ready now? No, it's not ready. But it should be ready by week 2, by what
Jimmy
they tell me.
Stewart create your app because you're doing a Jimmy Stewart impression?
No. The money's in Fred's house. What are you doing with my money in your house, Fred? Recap the free money to us, please. 6.5 point teaser.
All right, people. We're teasing the Ravens down to -3.5. The Packers up to 7.5. The Commanders down to -0.5. Vikings up to +0.5.
Through 0.
And the Jets, and the Jets up to +9. Bet the house, win 3.5 houses.
I'll have all of the picks, the cheat sheet, in case you couldn't keep up over the last million minutes, in the newsletter, which is completely free to join. It's down in the description as the year goes along. That's where I will be putting the link to this show, where you can watch it before anyone else can when it comes out on Wednesday mornings. But we are doing the Best Bet show on Wednesday. We might do that going forward, so that'll come out on Wednesday nights now. So I might just release this one right away. We'll see about that. But again, enter that $500 draw. Rate, review, subscribe. Please. Rig the algorithm so the Pat Mayo Experience can go whoop to the top of the rankings. Smash like and sub to the channel while you're here as well. And download the League Safe app and play in that free game. It's going to be weekly. $1,000 in the prize pool. Completely free to play. Link is down in the description. Thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Tidy little 2 hours and 45-minute show.
Paul said
love it.
Paul said we didn't record. We got to do it again.
Oh my
Lord.
Oh my God.
I don't have it in me.
Now that you've got Jack Astor's fingers,
You got Jack Astor's
on
chicken
your
fingers
mind.
on your mind.
That closes
do,
at
but
11,
that-
so you got to get on that.
Yeah, it's true.
Experience!